everybody? Happy Friday. Uh, happy hour. So I got John backstage. We're gonna do some talking. He just got home, so I'm gonna give him a minute to get himself together. I'll say hi to everybody real quick, and I'll bring him back up. Hi Dustin. Hi Pamela. Barbara M. Franca. Ellie. Aquarian. Me. Mariel, Brooklyn Girl, Barbara M, Wendy 2, Cat Lover, Paula, Mary B, Gina. Oh, hey, Gina. I haven't seen you in a minute. Nice to see you again. That's a blast from the past. Hi, Gina. Hey, Julie, Sienna, Criddle, Jojo. And all right, so I'm going to I haven't played my crappy intro in a minute. Let's play that, and I'll bring John up. Hold on. Let's see. Where is it? It's been so long since I played, I don't even know where it is. John Walters.
Hello. How's it
Or
going?
should I call you Father Time? I see that the beard is still bearded.
It is bearding. How you doing?
Pip pip.
Pip pip. Hello, everybody.
I didn't know if you're going to be like all oiled up, like in your recent pictures.
Yeah, just in like a loincloth.
Right, like a toga of some sort.
Yeah,
there it is,
something like
right
that.
there.
Yeah.
Atlas, right here on my screen.
It's been a long time, John. It's been a long time since we've had a little chat, and it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, buddy. John was one of my first when I got big was around the same time John was on the show with his best friend Paul and Rachel and everybody. So I don't know, John. You missed the old days, or what's going on? Tell me.
Wow, what a journey, eh? What a journey. It's really funny. I haven't spoken to anyone. I haven't been live. I haven't spoken to anyone. I haven't said anything. Like,
honored.
Not really. Wow. I'm glad that you're here. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy couple of years, to be honest. It has.
You look good. I mean, but I think you already know that.
Well, I didn't look good, and I had to go on a journey. I had to go on a really long, painful journey, and it's been tough. It's been a really hard process, to be honest. So
well,
like
I had. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No. Well, I like Wendy says that you look great, by the way. And if you're not seeing his loincloth photos on Instagram, it doesn't leave much to the imagination. So good for you.
Well, I am.
I'm going to keep embarrassing you, by the way, because you know how I work, John. So I mean, like you already knew that was coming. I was going to do that coming into this live.
Physical. It's physical. Yeah, I think COVID. I think the lockdowns, COVID. I think it messed with a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and especially the people that lost people, the people that were sick, or the people that were isolated, or stuff happened. People were locked in houses, in relationships that weren't working. People were separated from the people they loved, because borders were shut down and stuff. It was hard for a lot of people. And I think COVID was the beginning of the end for me and Rach. I think looking back,
I didn't know if you wanted to bring Rachel up, but Rachel was on. I had Rachel up a few months ago, and I think it was after and as I said to Rachel on the live with her, like I'm loyal to both of you, and you both have been my friends and for years, and that reverb's killing me, by the way.
Johnny, both Rachel and me would never try and win you to
Oh,
like
I know.
sway you or get you on our side or her side or like Rachel and me, both of us would never want that for you.
Oh, I
We're
never
just
felt that you
different
did.
people. All right, okay.
Wait, hold on,
So you
guys.
don't
Can
have
you
to be awkward.
wait, John?
I
Hold
did.
on.
I
Can you
did.
guys put reverb on me on John's mic, or is it just me? Because if it's just me, I could deal with it. But does anybody else hear it
I'll turn it
in
down.
the chat?
John, I'll just turn you down so you're a little whisper. How's
Okay,
that?
so
John,
they do hear it. Okay, I don't know why it's not the echo cancellation is not working, but it's okay. So all right. Um, I don't. So what led you on to? Okay, I don't know where to go with this. It's tricky. So what happened with Rachel? From your opinion?
Well, I
I'll
think
just put
I
the
think
Band-Aid off.
COVID. I think I think COVID was a real bad time for a lot of people. A lot of people. I don't know. I think there was like just a depression that sunk over a lot of people, and I don't think we were any different. I think she was under a cloud. I think I was under a cloud. There was a lot of. It was stress. There was a lot of. It was a lot of stress worrying about people somewhere else, and I think I don't know. I think after COVID, we I don't know. We weren't ever the same. I don't think. I think that was the beginning of a long end, which I didn't know was the end until retrospectively looking back at it and thinking, oh yeah, I saw, I can see that now. But at the time, I had no fucking idea. Like everybody was so shocked that we were breaking up.
It was.
I was shocked. Like, and looking back, it makes way more sense. It being a long checkout rather than a big boom event thing, right? So yeah, that was hard. The breakup was really hard. Um, the post breakup got fucking crazy, um, and um, and the sadness of it is that I just miss Lucy. It just breaks my heart every day, and I don't think people realize that I was never pretending to be her dad. I wanted to be her dad. I wanted to be involved with her forever, and that's the most painful part about it. And I think Rachel knows that. And
Well, I remember you when we first started talking. You first started talking to Rachel when she was still pregnant with Lucy.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So for all intents and purposes, you pretty much were a dad. I mean,
yeah,
reverb.
yeah. That's how it was. That's how it was supposed to be. And when I got when we broke up, like I kind of saw it come in. So when she texted me, "Are you at work? Because we need to talk." I was like, "Oh, fucking here it comes." And I just knew, and I knew because of the way Rachel had been with me for that entire month, because her mum moved back in on the 1st of April, and her mum had been away for 7 years, right? Her mum had come back. She'd moved in. I knew Rachel was going to be busy catching up with her mum, that sort of stuff. So we stopped calling so much, and she started getting busy, and she was doing stuff throughout the entire month. It was weird. It was like I'd text her at night or text her in the afternoon, and she wouldn't read the messages till the next day. And a couple of times that the whole month, I said, what are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I've turned my notifications off. It's just because work gets busy and stuff." I said, "Well, okay." And then I had an accident at work, and I messaged her, "I have an accident," and she said, "Why? What happened?" So I told her what happened, and she never
What
read the
happened?
reply. I fell off a table. I fell off a machine, and I fell about. Well, I wasn't injured bad, but she didn't read the message until the next day. So the next day, I texted her and said, "Good job, it wasn't serious." And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "Okay." Um, yeah, we never spoke. Once the mum moved in, we never spoke again on the phone, that entire month. And then at the end of the month, she texted me, "Are you working?" I said, "Yeah, why, what's up?" She said, "We need to talk." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Right. So I said, "Do you want to break up?" And she texted me back the breakup text. And I was just like, I just put the phone away. It was kind. It was kind. It just said, you can't say neither of us are happy. It's been going on for so long. The visa's taking its toll on us. You know, it's not really what I want. Our lives have become stagnant, and the spark's gone, and it just broke my heart. So I couldn't respond. I had nothing to say. Like, I knew reading it, I'd lost my family. And the time that it took me to read the beginning of the text to the end of the text, I knew I didn't have a family. That was it. And I knew I would never see Lucy again, because I didn't imagine Rachel would go on holiday to bring her ex-husband Lucy to hang out with. And so my heart absolutely broke. And the visa died at that point, and everything we've been working for years was just gone. The future, the family I wanted or I thought I had was gone. The visa was dead. I was I was fucking beside myself, um, and so I made a post and said the visa's over. I don't know what the future holds, but probably not going to be. I kind of left it a bit ambiguous, but basically saying the visa was dead. And then Rachel made a breakup video, which I watched probably more than anybody. I watched it like
I would
maybe
imagine so.
I watched the breakup video that she made maybe 500 times. I didn't speak to her like I didn't speak over that time, but it was heartbreaking and annoyingly, well, not annoyingly, but I'd already sent her birthday presents and Mother's Day presents, so they were in the post between breaking up and arriving. And so that whole period between the birthday, um, between the end of April and her birthday on the 6th of May, that period of time was the worst week of my life. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, I didn't do nothing. I was ruined. She made the breakup video and I watched it over and over again. And and I was watching it because I was trying to understand what the fuck happened. Like, I text her happy Monday, she texts me back, well, we have to admit neither of us are happy. I was like, I was fucking fine. I was fine. We had the deadline for our visa for the last thing, right?
How close were you away from actually getting the visa? Like you said, the deadline. We were like, was it
We're never
almost?
gonna know. We're never gonna know because she fucking blew it up before we like. And I understand if she wanted to break up and it had been a slow burn and she didn't want and the things and she was like, "It's now or never," so she pulled the band-aid off. That's what it felt like, because it was literally 2 days before the deadline for the next filing, and she just said, "I'm not filing." She just didn't file. Like, we're never going to get an answer. It wasn't the government. There wasn't a no. It was because the way it works is the US government says, "No, you got a criminal record." We say, "Yeah, but it's not a crime of moral turpitude." They say, "Yeah, but it is a crime of moral turpitude." Then we go, "No, actually, because of this." And they go, "Oh, but you didn't do that." They go, "Yeah, but..." So it's a to and fro. The US government say something, then we respond. Then they say something, we respond. Every time we respond, we've got like 60 days to respond or whatever it was. So that's the process that we were in with the legal fight we were in, because we were saying, look, it's not a crime of moral turpitude. It was a long time ago. There's, there is hardship. We're a family, and every time they said no, but because of this reason, we disproved it. Like, one of the things they wrote back and they said, although you've changed and you're a different person to what you were, we still don't think you're rehabilitated. Now that technically is the definition of rehabilitation. So we wrote back, you just described rehabilitation, so therefore he is rehabilitated, right?
Right.
So it was a bit like that. Another time they sent us they sent us an answer that said, not at this time, blah blah blah, but it was dated. It was dated before they received our documents because they asked for extra documents. So the documents, they went, "Thanks for your documents." The day after, they said no. So we said, wait a minute, there's a clerical error here. So the back and forth with the State Department was annoying, and every time we filed it, it would cost money and it was expensive and it was hard on us. And I think if Rachel had cold feet, she pulled the plug when she did, so that she didn't file. So if I had got a visa, it would have been bad. Her mum's just moved back in. Like I think she checked out long before, right? And I never saw it. I never knew it. Um, so that it was heartbreaking, and I was sad, and I watched the breakup video, and it was all teary eyed, and she'd said stuff like love isn't enough to hold people together. She said our values have changed, and I was thinking, okay, maybe thinking okay, it was hard. What hurt the most is that I had no idea she was miserable. I had no idea she didn't want to be with me for a long period of time. She could have broken up with me 2 years before, and I would have been like, oh yeah, because of this. But I had no idea that she was unhappy. So when I got that text, I never argued with her. I never fought with her. Nothing happened. Like, she just said, I've been unhappy. And I was like, fuck, I fucked up, right? Somewhere I fucked up. I missed it, and then all the things were going around in my head. I was like, it's because I got fat. Is it because I don't earn enough? Is it because is there someone else? All these things are going around in my head, right? And I never wanted Rachel to see me broken. Rachel's never seen me cry or upset or like nothing like that. Like, I would never want her to like see me like that. And I was bad, sad, right? So I went away hurting that I didn't want her to be miserable for one day. Not one day of our marriage did I want it. We've had arguments and we've had fights, and but when I realized that she was obviously checked out a long time before, I was really sad that I hadn't given her reasons to fall in love with me. I was every day. Like, I still adored her. Like, I don't have anything. I didn't have anything bad to say about her, about the marriage, about the long distance relationship. There's stuff which people do and people get hurt, but I don't know. So the breakup was really hard. It was awful knowing that, like, for some period of time, whether it be 2 weeks or a month, or maybe her mum moved in and her mum was just talking shit about me the entire time. I don't know. All I know is that her mum left when Lucy was 6 weeks old, told Rachel, should have had an abortion. It's your bed, you lie in it, I'm off, right? Or whatever she said, right? And Rachel's mum left her. Rachel was in a state with no family, and they didn't come to visit her when Lucy was
Because
born.
wasn't the mom in Texas, right? Or no? Like, wasn't her
Yeah,
family
yeah,
in
yeah.
Texas?
She moved to Virginia. She moved to live with her brother, and I basically said to Rachel, ask your mum to stay, and I'll pay your mum's rent, because she had a little apartment. It was like $500 or $600 or something. And her mum was like, you can't afford it. I was like, well, if you leave, then Rachel's going to have to afford daycare, right? So her mum just left Rachel high and dry. Rachel mend those bridges, and I don't want to talk shit about her mum, right? But they mended those bridges fine. Rachel was now in the position that she was a wife to me and a daughter to her mum. They were living together. Lucy's now got a grandmother that she's never had before. Well, she's had, but
Right.
their relationship took years to mend, right? And I'm really I'm really pleased they did mend their relationship. But Rachel's mum moves back in. Less than 1 month later, we had no phone calls, and she breaks up with me at the end of the month. I'm like, okay. So I don't know what caused it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if she was just reflecting and chatting with her mum, and Rachel was like, I've been unhappy for a while. And her mum was like, well, why just end it now? Like, I don't know whether her mum had any part in it, but I do know that Rachel had never been my wife and her daughter at the same time. She was like her daughter, and then her mum left, and then we had a whole thing for the entire time her mum was away. Her mum moves back, I'm chopped liver, right? That's kind of what it felt like. But if it was the fact that Rachel was chatting with her mum and reflecting and talking and having heart to hearts, that made me feel awful. Like, there's nothing in this world that I would have wanted to change than to know that for a period of time Rachel was unhappy in the relationship. I told her, I don't know, I don't know. But she did say in a breakup video, she did say in our breakup video, in our breakup video, that she did say in our breakup video that communication used to be a strong pillar of our relationship, but that's kind of gone. And I thought, yeah, you're right, because you were unhappy and you never told me. So that breakup I took really badly, really badly. And then I went off and I sunk into a deep, deep depression. And about October time, Rachel messaged me. She said, "You think you're having private conversations with people?" And she said,
October, just now, this October?
No, the October before,
Okay.
right? She said, people have told me you're saying not very nice things about me. And I was thinking, what nice things? What are you talking about? Right? And so I asked her, I said, what did they say? Who are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. And she was like, and she left it completely vague. She was like, some people. And the only things I ever said that wasn't nice was three things. People would message me and say, "Oh my God, John, it's so sad that you and Rachel decided to call it a day." I said, "Not me." I said, "I did not call nothing. I said, I was notified via text message." And they said, "Oh, that's awful." They said, "That's just despicable. That's awful." And I said, that's what happened, right? Another thing people would say to me was, "Oh my God, I can't believe the US government wouldn't give you a visa." I said, the US government had nothing to do with it. Rachel pulled the plug before the US government made a decision, right? And they were like, "Oh, so you didn't even get a final answer all those years, all that money?" And I said, "Yeah." And the third thing I said was, people would say "Oh my God, you and Rachel must be really sad." I said, "Rachel's off living her fucking best life. I think she's going to be fine, right? This is what she wanted." And that's basically the only thing I ever said that was negative about her. And I asked her, "What did they say about you? What are you talking about?" And Rachel said to me, "You think you're having private conversations with people, but I know everything you're saying." And I thought to myself, "Oh yeah, because you got my fucking password, right?" Rachel gave me the password for my account. So I marked all my
Because
messages
because you're on the old follow the fairy tale account. Is that what you're talking about? Right? Is
yeah,
that it?
yeah. So so she gave me the password for the account I'm using, and she was like, "People are telling me you're talking shit about me." And I was like, "Who? What people?" And honestly, the only things I ever said bad about her was the fact that she broke up with me with a text message, and they said it was awful, and it is awful. It's a cruel thing to do, right? She did blow up the visa, which is her right, and I'm not bashing her for that, but I was making the point that the US government wasn't to blame, right? And the third thing was, when people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you and Rachel," I said, "It's okay." I said, "I'll be all right eventually. And Rachel's, she'll be fine. Don't worry about, don't worry about it." And that was basically all I ever said. So when Rachel was like, "I know what you're saying about me," I realized, and I had an auto respond, and I marked all the auto responses to unread. So if I got any new messages, I could see the new messages because they come through because it's a message that I send. So I marked them to unread so I could see any new messages and know the difference between the old ones and the new ones. And one day I logged in and they were all read, all of the marked messages.
So let me jump in. Wait, so all right, so in case you guys don't know, probably because you're not an old term like me and John, this was 8 years ago. Rachel and John shared an account called Follow Our Fairy Tale, and it was about their journey together.
A joint
It was
blog.
a joint account. Rachel had her account, John had his, and they had to follow the fairy tale account, which they shared together. And then at some point, John lost his IG because he's a troll. No, I lost my IG at one point too because I was a troll. So, we both lost our IGs for being assholes. And then John came back to Instagram and he used to follow the fairy tale account, which Rachel
Was a
gave me
joint
password
account.
to. Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then, so when my question is, so when you got the follow the fairy tale account back, which you repurposed as John Walters 2.0, did you not
yeah.
change the password?
I did change. I changed the. I did change. Wow. I changed the email because the email is linked to her account. So I changed the email. She's probably going to lock me out now, right? But I changed the email, and she got a notification that says your email has been changed. Is this you? So she said no, and then changed the password. So I said,
Oh,
"Did you lock me out? Can I have the password, please?" And she sent me the password again. She didn't say, "Oh, you can change the email if you want." She just gave me the password. So she had the password. So all the people that think I'm sneaking around and I've done awful things and I'm fucking horrible, right? She had the password. There was no fucking. I didn't get caught. She didn't catch me. There was nothing. It was basically we were broken up. Now, if she wants to have a little snoop in my inbox, then that is fucking her prerogative, right? And
so can Rachel
and
still like see? Can she still log into your account and look at your shit?
I don't want to give her any ideas, but she could, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay, all right, keep going. Sorry, that's what I was trying to. All right, so all right, go ahead.
But here's the thing, um, so she told me, "Oh, you think you're having secret conversations?" She said that in October, right? She said, "You think you're having secret conversations." Up until October, things had been really hard. I I sent Rachel a phone, or I sent Lucy a phone, so we could have more communication, and it didn't work. So I sent Rachel some more money and said, "Can you buy a little phone from like Walmart?" And then Lucy rang me on it to thank me for it, and then I was messaging her a few times, and I went from speaking to Lucy every day to speaking to Lucy like once every few days to once a week. And then by the time we got to October, I hadn't spoken to Lucy for like 2 weeks. You know, she wasn't answering, she wasn't calling, and I said to Rachel about it. And Rachel was like, "Oh, she's lost her phone." And I was thinking, "Oh." So I said to Lucy, I said, "Hey Lucy, did you find your phone?" Because we were talking, she was on the iPad. And Lucy said, "Oh no." And then Rachel messaged and said, "Oh, can you stop guilt tripping Lucy?" I said, "What do you mean?" And she went, "Oh, you're going on about her losing her phone." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm thinking she's fucking 6 years old. Like she hasn't lost it at work. She didn't lose it when she was fucking like. Just help her find it. It's in the house. Just like the phone I bought her. Can you help her find it? And anyway, she found the phone, and I said to Rachel a few times over that period, I said, "Rachel, am I being phased out?" And Rachel said, "No, you're not being phased out. You and Lucy, you know." She said, "But your contact with her is up to her. If she wants to call you, she'll call you. If she doesn't, she doesn't." And I'm thinking, yeah, but she's 6. You need to be like, and the relationship we had, Rachel would, if Lucy was in the park, send me a picture of Lucy in the park. If Lucy has a party, she'd send me a picture of the thing. Lucy dresses up. Like Rachel would narrate Lucy's life. So I went from having Rachel narrate Lucy's life and share every little moment from the first time she ate solid food to the first time she walked. Rachel was sharing that with me. And then when we broke up, it was like fucking silence. So over that period of time, I felt like I was being phased out, and I mentioned it a few times. And she said, "No, you're not being phased out." I was like, "Why? Do you want to help her find? Do you want to help her find a phone then?" Right? And um, so there was that time. I was still trying to be like, I was still trying to like. We were civil. The conversation was very dry. It was like I was hurting. I I was hurt. I felt like I was being phased out of Lucy's life, and I could see the end coming. As far as like being phased out felt like, right? And then around October time, she said that, and I was just like, and I was thinking, I asked her, I said, what are people, what have, what have they said? I say, because she could have said, "Oh, John, somebody told me you said I'm
That I'm
a fucking horrible." I just got some feedback then. Yeah, she could have said she could have said anything. She could have said, "Oh yeah, somebody said that you said I was a awful wife and I did this and I did the other," and I would have said that's not true, or I would have said, "Oh yeah, I did say that," but she broke up with me. I could have gone live and gone, "She's done this. She betrayed me. She blew up the visa. She's cutting me out. I bought Lucy a
Just
phone."
say to your credit, you didn't because
I
like in
didn't.
full transparency, like I told you that when when I had Rachel up, and just like I told Rachel, I just texted her. I'm like, I'm live with John because I don't want anybody thinking like, because I am friends with both of you, and it's a tricky spot. But I have to give you credit because when I did have Rachel come up on my live, I think it was like in like August or July, I can't remember, whenever that was, and you know there was, the diss tracks and stuff like that, which would have given you a lot of opportunities to say something, but you stood quiet, to your credit, which,
But here's the thing, though. Like, um, a part of me, a part of me kind of felt like after that point, after that point, that was October. She was like, people are telling me stuff, and I thought to myself, I know, I know she had my password. She gave me the password. There's no ambiguity. She could log in now. Like, there's no like, I don't care. Like, it's not like, um, I had nothing to hide, right? But a part of me, and this might be the fucking side of me. The entire time we were married, I got sent titty pictures. I got sent flirty text messages. I got sent loads of stuff like everybody else on the show, right? And every time they did, I always said the same thing to all of them. I said, "How can you disrespect me and my wife and my family by sending me that shit?" Right? After we broke up, that's a different kettle of fish, right? Like, and I knew that she could log in and she was like snooping in my I assume she was snooping in my inbox. I don't know. It's just that one time that I saw all the messages go to unread, right? And a part of me was like, I didn't care. I was so far in a depression. I didn't know if it was October. I didn't think I was going to make it to the Christmas. I wasn't sleeping. I was barely eating. I was fucking miserable in myself. I hated my body, hated my face, I loathed everything. And I was lonely. I went from having a wife that was far away and being lonely to having nobody, right? And when people messaged me, "Oh, wow, you've lost 20 pounds. You're looking great. You're so handsome." I was like, "Oh, thank you very much." Right. And
let me
before I
jump in,
wasn't
because I
even
remember you telling
entertaining it.
me. Wait, hold on. I'm going to jump in because my biggest thing with you is your goddamn beard. You know, I hate it still to this day. And like, I remember you telling me this years ago. I'm like, John, you're a good looking guy. Like, why do you have like this father time Dumbledore fucking beard that you won't get rid of? And, and like,
Because
I
I'm
kind of told
handsome without it.
well, and I said, like, you're kind of letting yourself go a little bit. And then what you said to me, which I thought was sweet, was that I don't need to be attractive, and I kind of do this so women won't bother me because I'm married, and I do that for Rachel.
No, it's not that. It's like Rachel's a jealous person, right? Rachel is a jealous person. When we met, I was in the gym, I was training. One of the photos they put on, like, I don't know if you remember the pre-ads to the show, was like a photo that I'd sent Rachel, and it was like I was flexing my muscles, right? Rachel like banned me from being shut. She's like, "We're gonna go on the show. I never want, I don't want you posting topless stuff, right?" And I was like, "Okay, right." And I did put on weight, and I was fine about that, right? I was fine about not showing my body. Um, um, so I got a message today. You'd be so handsome if you shaved that beard. Like, and I was like, they
I've
said,
been
"Oh, that
telling
was
that.
it." She said,
I've been telling you that for 7 years, John. Come on, like that's
she
not
said,
the
"Why?"
first time.
And it said, "You'd be so handsome if you shave your beard. Why don't you just shave your beard?" I said, "That's why. That's literally
Right,
why."
because you
Like,
kept the beard, you kind of kept yourself like, in this Quasimodo state with the, I'm sorry, I hate your fucking beard, man. I've been telling you that for like almost a decade. Um, but I've always told you, like, yeah, that beard is too much. And like, there was one picture of you on the show, which I have, which I'll find right now while we're doing this live, where you like kind of clean, not clean shaven, but like the beard was like, scruff, like what I have, like like a 5 o'clock
yeah.
shadow. And I'm like, oh my God, look at that face. And you're like, no, 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 that, that's for my wife only. And you've told me
But
this
what I
over and
loved
over.
is Rachel didn't really like it. I don't think, right? But the thing is, like, I like the fact that Rachel was like, "I love him with it, without it, long it, short, whatever," right? And that was cool. What I didn't like is I didn't like people telling me you'd be more handsome to me if you shaved your beard. Like I don't know. Like people say, "Oh yeah, you'd look way more handsome if you got a haircut." It's like I will get a haircut, but I'm not going to be doing it because you think it'll make me handsome. Like, so what are we talking about? So yeah, I don't know. Like I'm okay. I'm okay with like not being attractive to people. Like there was only one person I cared about, and um, And after we broke up, I went from having a wife that wasn't sexually active with to having nobody I was not sexually active with, and I was fat and miserable and very lonely. And um, I don't know. I It's not a very nice place to be. If I like, all my friends were like, all my friends at work were like, why don't you go out, go for a drink, pick up some girls? You know, you haven't been laid for a couple of years. Why don't you just do that? And the idea of meeting somebody fucking repulsed me. The idea of hooking up with somebody just, it was fucking awful. Like, but I haven't been with anyone. Haven't haven't dated anyone like physically. Um, I've had a few little like I've had a few little um, I say a few. I've had a few people who that I've liked, um, and one of them I'm not going to talk about. And the
You
other
don't
one
have to.
I'm not going to talk about the other one either. But basically, I did not want to meet anybody feeling fat and ugly, and um, yeah. So
Someone just asked a question, but I already know the answer to it. But since they sent a super chat, I'll ask it because I don't want them to feel like it's not. They said, John, are you co-parenting with your wife? But there is no co-parenting.
and there is no wife.
Yeah. So
Um, so yeah, there was that. Um, and then it had been a year. It had been a year since we broke up. I hadn't spoken since. No, actually, I'll take you to January, John. Listen to this. This is gonna fucking blow your mind, right? This is the first time.
January of this year,
Yeah, January this year, like
2025.
a year ago from now, right?
Okay.
I deleted everything on social media. I hadn't really posted anything. I think, um, um, and I was quiet. I was quiet doing my own thing, and my own thing consisted of starving myself, going to the gym hungry, obsessed with my weight, obsessed with losing the weight. I just spiraled. I developed an eating disorder, and just very, very self-destructive. Very, very. If I hadn't have anxiety, I probably would have been out drinking, sleeping around. But I did develop an anxiety. I don't know where it came from. The first anxiety attack, I sent a picture of my watch that was saying, your heart rate's at 130 and you're at rest. Are you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. um, so that is new. That was new. And I got no interest in that. So I just basically internalized everything, punished myself, blamed myself, hated myself, loathed myself, and was gradually getting weaned off Lucy, like being phased out. Christmas was really hard for me. I did see what Rachel said in a little rap song, and it was cruel and it was wrong. And I would like to set the record straight on this. I have two accounts, two Amazon accounts. One of them I use for America, one of them I use for the UK. Now they've changed it so you can log into either account, and you can log in, because you couldn't do it before. You couldn't log into Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk from the same account. So I had two separate ones. But I accidentally logged into my US email for my Amazon and sent her stuff from Amazon UK. So it cost whatever it cost me in shipping, and it was held up in Lucy's presents were held up in customs. And I got a notification that says your present, your delivery is going to be late. So I messaged Rachel on maybe, I can't remember the exact date, but I think it was around the 19th, the 20th, right? Like a few days before Christmas. I said, Rachel, Lucy's presents are held up and I really want her to have something to open for Christmas. I sent her $70 or $60 or something. It wasn't very much. And said, can you buy her something from Walmart, something little, just so she's got something to open, right? Rachel never replied to that. She never responded. She never did anything. And when I spoke to Lucy a few days after Christmas, I said, hey Lucy, did you get any presents? Did they turn up in the end? And she said no. I said, oh. I said, what did you open for Christmas? She said nothing. So Lucy basically told me that I didn't get her any presents, even though, and it was cruel of Rachel not to. She could have. I don't know. It wasn't so close to the deadline. And on her rap song, on her fucking diss track rap song, she didn't have to bring it up, but she said in it something like, "I sent her money Christmas Eve, but it was too late, but she spent it on herself or something." And I just think, who the fuck steals from a baby, from a child? Because that's what
And
she
you
did.
haven't when you I know the answer to this, but you don't. When's the last time you had any communication with Lucy?
It was about February, so it's a little bit after this, right? But that was Christmas, right? So the truth is, and I've got the PayPal receipt. I sent it on the 19th or the 20th. It was like a week before, maybe not a whole week, but there was enough time that if you're in Walmart, you could buy a little fucking something, right? She could have popped to the garage, and Mum could have looked after Lucy. It was just basically me saying, look, I fucked up. She's got presents. They're going to be stuck in customs. I hope they're not late. If they are late, can you just get her something little to open up Christmas Day? And Rachel's laughing about on a rap song, laughing and bragging about how she spent the money on herself. And I just think, ugh. And she said, I sent it to her Christmas Eve. I didn't send it to her Christmas Eve. I sent it to her like the week before. So I don't even know why she would lie about that, just to make me look bad when I was actually trying to give Lucy a Christmas present. So that was Christmas. And then this is the first time I knew Rachel was mad at me. I got an email from In Touch Weekly, and it said John. I was like, what the fuck? In Touch. I was like, how did you get my email? Right? I hate In Touch.
Probably been a minute since you probably heard from like any type of publication because you've been off the show for years.
Yep, and it said, we've spoken to Rachel. Dun dun dun. And it said, and she's said this about you, and we'd like your comment. So they sent me bullet points, right? And I was like, oh shit, she's fucking mad with me, right? Bearing in mind, I didn't know she was building rap songs. I didn't know she was working on an album. I didn't know any of that shit, right? But here's the craziest thing. She never mentioned, this is what she mentions in the letter to In Touch Weekly, this is the email In Touch Weekly said to me. They said, you berated her so much. In an argument.
Wait, you berated her?
Yeah, I berated her so much in an argument she didn't speak to me for a week. It said, I'm a total narcissist. It said I belittled her about her nan dying. It said I'm all about social media. And then it said, I monetized the whole relationship. And I was like, wait a minute. So I replied to In Touch Weekly. I said, firstly, I know the argument you're talking about because Rachel told me she loved Justin, right? Rachel said to me, I love Justin, and it was her boss. I said, oh, and I just said, cool. And then later on that day, it was the day before Valentine's Day, and I'll never forget it because we didn't speak for a week. So this was the big argument we had. And how it unfolded is I said, it's the day before Valentine's. Why are you telling me you love Justin? She went, wow, you know what I mean? I love him. He's a great guy. He's nice. He's a cool guy. I said, why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say Justin's a really cool guy and I really like him? Why did you tell me I love him?
Is Justin like the guy from her job?
Yeah. Right?
Okay.
So Rachel texted me, I love Justin. And I was like, and I was jealous.
Well, I had Rachel up and she was saying that wasn't the case. So
right? No, right? But she did text that to me. So I said to her on her phone, on the argument that we had, right? I said to her, well, why don't you fucking marry Justin? Right? And she fucking got mad at me. She screamed at me. She said, fuck you like 10 times, right? She hung up. The next day, she texted me and she messaged saying to me, John, I don't like who we become when we argue. She said, I don't want to bring the girls up in a world where we're yelling at each other. She said, Rachel said, I become someone different when we argue. I've never been that mad at anyone before in my life. It's toxic, and I don't know if I want to continue a relationship if that is the way it's going to go. And I replied, on Valentine's Day, I completely agree. I never spoke to her for a week, right? She never spoke to me. We had a calling off week, right? I didn't know if we were going to break up or that was the end of it. It was a really, really nasty argument. And it got nasty mostly because Rachel was saying, Justin's such a great guy. He's my hero. If it wasn't for him, I'd have nothing. He saved my life. And I was like, fucking marry him then. like, what the fuck?
That
I
would
know.
probably be
But here's
hard
the
for me.
thing, though. But here's the thing, John. That was 2 years ago,
That would be hard to hear for me.
right?
Like, I would be hard to hear.
That was hard for me to hear the day before Valentine's Day when I was missing her, right? Right? Her boss came round her house the day before Valentine's Day because he was in the area. I was a little bit jealous. She told me she loved him in a nice, friendly sort of like, and I was a bit, right? So we had that argument, right?
She was sorry. Oh, hold on, let me stop. She told you like I love this guy, but like love like platonic love, like a brother or whatever. Even though he's a coworker, and it's the day before Valentine's Day, and she's telling you she loves this guy, not in a romantic way, but she still loves him. Meanwhile, you haven't seen her in years, and like your relationship was like shaky at best.
Yeah.
So right.
Yeah. So the argument happened, and it was a spontaneous argument. It wasn't one out of cruelty or malice, right? I knew what she meant. Like she loves him, like he's cool, and I was like, oh. And I was like, why didn't you just say he was cool? If you think he's a cool guy, then just say that. You didn't have to tell me you love him. Like, because reading that hurt. Like, I love Justin is what the text said. Anyway, the next day she texted me saying she became someone different when we argue. She doesn't want to bring the girls up in a relationship where we're fighting. I said, I agree. Right? Then we didn't speak for a while. That's the argument. She told In Touch Weekly, I berated her so much. That we didn't speak for a week. So I said to In Touch Weekly, that's not true. These are the text messages. I sent them the text messages. I said, Rachel never mentioned me berating her. Rachel could have said the next day, if it was true that I had berated her and bullied her or whatever, she would have said to me, John, I'm not putting up with you speaking to me like that. I will not be berated. I don't want to be in a relationship where you berate me, blah, 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 right? But she didn't. The text she sent me the day after was all her reflecting on the person she became when we argued, right? And I agreed with her. She got mad, screaming down the phone at me, fuck you, right? She got mad, right? And I agreed. But that's what she tried pinning on me and telling In Touch Weekly 3 years later. She was like, oh yeah, there was this time 3 years ago. And I was like, come on. So I said to In Touch Weekly, not true, right? So I sent that to them. The next line on the thing, I belittled her about her dead nan. That's not true either, right?
Her dead who?
Her dead nan. Right, that's basically what In Touch Weekly said, that I belittled her and mocked her because of her dead nan. That's not true. What actually happened is her nan had a stroke and Rachel was all like, oh, my nan's had a stroke. And I said, Rachel, you should go be with her. So I paid for Rachel to fly. I said, if you use the money you've got in the PayPal for your
nan, like your grandmother?
Yeah, her grandmother.
You kept saying man. I'm like, what?
No, her grandmother, right? So I said to Rachel, you've got to be with your family. And she said, oh, but I don't want to spend this money for the reunion. So basically I said, if you spend that money, I'll pay it back, right? So that I'll end up, in effect, paying for it so you can go now. Just use it because you've got it now. And I'll reimburse you for the flights to go be with your nan, right? Day number one, she gets there. Her dad's not there. Her whole family's going to be there with her nan, right? This is the truth. I did not belittle her because of her nan. I thought her nan was amazing, right? That's the truth. Rachel turns up. Rachel's dad, her brothers, everyone turns up. Rachel messaged me. She said, my nan's got a living will. She said she doesn't want to be on a respirator. She doesn't want to be on feeding tubes or a respirator. So we're going to wait till everyone gets there and turn the machine off. So it's like her living will, right? I said, okay. So I left her to it. Next day or that afternoon, I said, how did it go? She said, well, we're going to turn it off tomorrow because we're waiting for someone to be, or whatever it was, right? So I messaged her in the morning. It's going to be a tough day. I'm thinking about you and the family. That afternoon, she sends me photos of her and Lucy and her brothers down the boardwalk. And I was like, what the fuck? Right? Rachel said, well, we can only go there for a couple of hours. We can only have 2 people in at a time. And I was like, yeah. And so I thought as a family, you'd take it in shifts of 2. There'd be 2 people, then 2 more people, 2 more people, and you'd stay there 24 hours a day until she goes, right? That's what I thought was going to happen. Nope, they spent 2 hours with her in the morning, had a coffee, then went out for lunch, and then ended up down the boardwalk. And basically, Rachel said to me, she said, hospitals are too depressing. So they've gone to find some fun. Next day, I said, how'd it go? Did you turn the machine off? Nope. Next day, 5 days later, the machine's still turned on. Okay. They were out for drinks. They had a little fucking barbecue, whatever they were doing. And I was just like, I said to Rachel, if that was my nan, there's not a person in this world that would stop me from unplugging that machine, right? I said, you've got to turn it off. It's her will. Like, it's her living will. And Rachel said, well, where she might respond. Anyway, Rachel's flight for leaving is coming up. And Rachel's flight for leaving is coming up. And her nan is still on the respirator, still got feeding tubes or whatnot. And I can't remember if they took her off it or whether they didn't. But Rachel flies back to Albuquerque. Her nan, who was a devout Christian, I don't like Christianity, right? But her nan was a devout Christian, played piano in her church every year. Rachel flies back. Rachel was back in Albuquerque for 2 days and her nan died on her own or whatever, right, without her family around her. The idea of her family going there was so her, at 95 years old or 90 years old, could be surrounded by her family when she died. That didn't happen, right? That did not happen. And I found the whole thing disgusting, right? Personally, as somebody, she wasn't even my nan, right? But I was disgusted with how Rachel's like, oh, but my dad and Rachel takes a lower seat in the family hierarchy, right, with them, right? So it wasn't Rachel's control. But if it was me, I would have been fighting for my nan's rights, my grandmother's rights. Anyway, Rachel flies back. She goes to Ella's play. Ella had a thing at school. And then Rachel texts me, my nan died, or she said Grammy died at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, by her fucking self, alone, 2 o'clock in the morning, in hospital with a fucking tube down her throat, right? I found the whole thing disgusting. And I never said nothing. We never had an argument about it. I never berated. I never did anything. I just thought it inside. Pissed me off, right? I found the whole thing. And I said to her, what are you going to do about the funeral or the service? And Rachel said, we're not having a service. She's getting cremated. I was thinking, she played piano in the church for 50 fucking years. Like, what do you mean you're not having a church service? So that's it. This really religious lady could have had her family with her when she died. And Rachel and her brothers and her dad disrespected the living will of a person that asked specifically not to be on a respirator. And I thought that was awful, right? I never said a word about it. Anyway, 2 weeks later, we're on a live stream, we're on a chat, there's a group chat, and somebody says, hey, Rach, really sorry about your nan, sad. And Rachel starts to well up, right? And I feel awful for this, right? But Rachel starts to well up and she starts padding, right? She's like, oh, and she starts crying. And the other person's crying. And my eyes must have rolled, my eyes must have hit the fucking ceiling. And it was so bad that I had to pretend I had to log off. I was like, oh, I got no signal. Oh, phone's dead, right? So I exited the fucking live, right? It wasn't to belittle her or to mock her nan, nothing. It was because Rachel said to me, before her nan died, I'm at peace with it. I was like, okay, she's not fucking dead though, is she? Like, how can you be at peace with it and fucking fly home to watch a fucking play that your daughter's in while your nan's over there dying by herself, right? So I would never have told anybody, right? But she told In Touch Weekly that I belittled her and mocked her because of her dead nan, right? So I told In Touch Weekly the truth. I sent them all the screenshots of Rachel saying, oh, we're at the pub now. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, we can't do that. And me saying, Rachel, she's got a living will. You've got to turn it off, right? So I sent that all to In Touch Weekly. Anyway, the next thing they said, we had arguments all the time and I would often swear at her in public. And I was like, we only have arguments on the phone with no witnesses. So what are you talking about? There was something else. It said about social media. It said, I'm obsessed with social media. I said to In Touch Weekly, I said, I haven't posted for a year. What are you talking about? Like, and then it was another thing. It said, oh, you monetize social media. I said, I did cameos. The money I got from Cameo, I sent to Rachel.
Well, like the fact monetize social media, like that's ridiculous. Everybody, like my
yeah,
social
but Rachel said I
monetized.
Rachel said I monetized the relationship, and the social media meant more to me than the relationship, right? So I sent them a screenshot of Rachel's breakup video, and underneath there's an in fucking video ad underneath her fucking Facebook breakup video. So she obviously went a little bit viral, got 10,000 shares or whatever, had enough minutes viewed. She obviously had enough minutes views to monetize her Facebook, and then she turned on the ads. So I took a screenshot of that and sent that to In Touch Weekly. I said, she's monetizing literally the breakup whilst telling you that I monetized the relationship. I said I did Cameo. I had subscribers. I said I did everything I did to raise money to pay for flights and to pay for the visa. I said that was never a secret. Like, so I don't know why Rachel's saying I monetized the. Yeah, I did, and then I gave you the money. Like, it was never a secret. So,
But what?
so
So
that was.
like, what specifically did you monetize that you gave Rachel the money for? What? Like cameos?
Well, the thing is, the stuff that we did, like the selling the cameos, the t-shirts, some merch stuff. I think we monetized YouTube for a bit. All that stuff just went into the pot, and it helped pay for like the visas and the trips and the stuff like that. So like the plan. Like, and so I just said to In Touch Weekly, yeah, we did monetize, but I spent more money than I ever earned. Like, I've been paycheck. I've been spending my money on a family that I'm not even with. Like, so.
What specifically was Rachel telling In Touch that you were getting monetized off of during this time with the grandmother?
Do you know what? I don't even know. I don't even know. But the thing is, like the craziest thing is, it felt like almost projection. The argument was her screaming down the phone at me, and she told In Touch Weekly I berated her. Right? The monetization, she just literally just turned on her ads on Facebook. Right? I was like, that was you as well. Right? There was the whole thing about her nan. I don't even know why she brought it up. She just wanted to make me look bad. Right? So she said about that. And so there was a few other things. There was a friend that said, like, I'm a total narcissist. So I said to In Touch, okay, so if I was a narcissist, I must be the only narcissist in the world to get broken up with one text message. I want to break up. Okay, that's not narcissist behavior, right? And I must be the only narcissist in the world to break up and not make a breakup video or not make, I don't know, 20 rap songs, right? If, like, I don't know much about narcissism, right? But I have heard that after breakups, they like to do a smear campaign, like to ruin the other person once they lose control. And the more I've been thinking about it, the more I'm thinking, oh, why is she telling people I'm not a narcissist at all? Like, I blamed myself. The whole year I was quiet. I was secretly hating and loathing myself. I never blamed her. I never texted her anything horrible. Like, so here's the weirdest thing. So that was the In Touch Weekly.
I
That was
can say like
January.
that you were gone. Like, when you lost your IG account, there was probably like a couple of years where we didn't talk at all because you lost your IG and like, people move on and do shit. Like, not that we weren't friends, but and same thing goes to Rachel. Like, I've spoken to a lot of cast members over the years, and you guys were like near and dear to me because we started this together. Like, we all kind of got big at the same time. I was like the blogger, you guys were on the show. And then we didn't speak for a minute. And I can say this about Rachel too, because you guys were off the show. I had to like focus on shit that's on the show. But you, it didn't seem like me. It didn't seem to me like that you were trying to capitalize on anything from being on the show, especially even when you got your account back. You could have been like, promoting the skinny tea or whatever the fuck you wanted to do, but you didn't. And I don't think Rachel did either, but I would never think, and like, this is hard for me to say because I'm friends with both of you. I would never think that you were trying to capitalize on anything on social media because as long as I've known you, John, you really have never like done anything on social media. Like, oh, this is John Walters. Like maybe the beard cream that you did like, 8 years ago is what you fucking did, and that made sense because you had that horrible beard, which I hate. But like, I think that's the only thing that you did on social media was like the beard stuff.
But this was the craziest thing, John. In Touch Week sent me that, so I sent them back my response. Right? I sent them back my response.
I'm listening.
I sent them back my response, and I laid it out in bullet points. Right? And it was weird and it was weird. Oh, that another thing she said as well. She actually included that I said some not nice things about her. Right? It says Rachel claims that you've said not nice things about her. And I said, she broke up with me with a text message. If I want to talk shit about her, I'm allowed. Like, I'm literally allowed. That's not even news. Guy gets broken up with, talks shit about his ex. Like, I don't even know why she thinks the newspaper would care, or why anybody in the world would be like, oh, John, you're not supposed to like. So I explained it to them. I said, look, I don't actually know what she's talking about because she never told me. I don't know what she's claiming. I said that wasn't very nice. But I said the only thing I have said is that she blew the visa up. She broke up a move with a text message, and she's probably happy living her best life. Right? I was never cruel about her. I never attacked her. I never attacked her character. I never did anything. So that's the In Touch Weekly letter, and I said to them, what are they going to do with it? And they basically said, well, now we're going to send your response back to Rachel to find out if she wants to comment. I was like, oh shit, right? I think my reply to them is what blew it up. I think. I think she rolled up as. Huh?
I must have missed this In Touch article because it
They
seems like
didn't
this
write
was
it,
like.
Johnny. No, I contacted them like fucking 10 times. And I said, are you Muppets going to write this fucking story or what? And they were like, oh, but we're still speaking illegal. I said, why don't you do some investigation? Why don't you look at my social media that is fucking empty and been empty for a year? Why? And they said, oh, it's not our job. We're just going to like, she said, In Touch Weekly said, we're not in the business of getting into he said, she said. I said, yes, you fucking are. Right? I said, but do some journalism. Do some journalism. Just have a look at it. She has monetized her Facebook, right? These are the screenshots of like how she disrespected her nan, and then told the newspaper, or not a newspaper, or told the bloggers, or the I don't even know what they are. Fucking rag, right? She told them that I disrespected her and belittled her because of her nan, right? That sounds awful, doesn't it? John Walters disrespects Rachel and belittles her because of her dead nan. Like, that's basically what In Touch Weekly could have written, right? So I sent them the evidence and said, no, that is not true, right? Anyway, the story died. The story fizzled away. The story was no more, right? Anyway, that was January. Then, obviously, the months went on. I lost a little bit more weight, and I thought it'd been a year now. So now it was May. We'd been broken up a year. I lost 50 pounds. I was still depressed. I was still having sleep problems. So I shared my weight loss, and I think you shared the story. I think you shared the where I did the captions. Like, it was 9 images over the 9 months, and I think you said something about my beard growth or something.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, because like, I hate the fucking beard. I always have and I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
will. But like I was. Go ahead.
So I posted that, and that was a year after we broke up. And then exactly fucking 1 week later, Rachel releases these rap songs, and I'm like, okay, touche. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know.
gonna pull up my.
I don't even know what to think about them. Like,
I was gonna pull up my IG because I was thinking back to when all this stuff happened. Because I was in as much shock than anybody else because I've always said, and people know that have been watching me for years. Like, I had 2 couples that were always like, the bread and butter of like 90 Day Fiance, John and Rachel. Like, look how hard they've been trying to make this marriage work for all these years. I'm like,
yeah.
and then Corey and Evelyn, my other 2. Where like it's unusual for me to be friends with both people, like so like this broke my fucking heart because I couldn't believe it. But I'm gonna share this real quick. And by the way, Rachel's watching, so I'm just gonna say that because I'm not trying to be sneaky here. So Rachel asked for a link and I sent it to her. So Rachel's watching. So just so in full transparency, because I did the same thing when. I told you, John, when right or wrong, I told you when I was going to have Rachel up. So like, it's only fair for me to do the same thing to her. But this post here, wait, where is it? Why won't it pop up? What the fuck? What? Why is it not working? Why can't I pull this up? I'll just read it then. Forget it. Screw it. So oh, nope, that's the wrong button. There we go. Nope, too big. There we are. All right. But I was looking at my Instagram and trying to see like when this all like, where is it? Sorry, keep talking while I find it again because technology and me just hate each other. Hold on, let me try to find it. It was March 7th. Let me see here. Where the hell is it? What day is this? February 21st. There it is. There's a post from you on March 7th from you. Just found out I'm officially divorced courtesy of Rachel making a video of her followers, which a blogger sent me, and I was the blogger that sent it to you. It was super sad seeing her so snarky and bitter toward me, and it included a vague warning to my new girlfriend, which was unnecessary. Who was the new girlfriend? You're muted. John. Can't hear you. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. You were muted for a second.
Oh.
So when, and
I guess I was. Listen, basically, a few times I posted, or a few things I've posted, or a few comments I've made, right? I said, Rachel's living the best life, and I've moved on, right? And I was quite vague about that. I did meet someone I liked. And I made I hinted towards it, but it was never going to be a public thing. It was always going to be like a little private thing, right? The craziest thing is, Rachel could have said to me, "Oh, Rachel could have just posted, hey guys, I'm divorced," right? Ta-da, right? I don't even know. And the warning she gave, like, be careful because when he posts stuff about you, it's not for him. It's for him. When he posts about you, I never tagged her. It didn't even make sense. Like this secret relationship, friendship that I was interested in somebody was a secret, right? It was away from the media. It was off social. It was offline, right? Rachel's basically warning is, be careful because if he tags you, it's not for him, it's for you, or it's not for you, it's for him. And I thought that was really fucking weird, right? Mostly because about fucking 8 weeks later, she then remembered of all the bad things that I've ever done in my whole life, and she wanted to tell the whole world what a fucking awful person I was. Now, what we need to remember is she didn't mention any of the bad stuff when we broke up. In the breakup video, she could have made a public statement then. Hey guys, we're breaking up. John's done this, that, and the other. Right? That's cool. She could have done. Right? She could have said to In Touch Weekly, by the way, blah, 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 blah. She didn't tell In Touch Weekly none of that. She was clutching at straws. And when I told In Touch Weekly about how she disrespected her nan's dying wishes, and I didn't belittle her because of her nan, and I never would have done, right? Once I told that to In Touch Weekly, they sent it back to Rachel. Rachel went to war with me. And that is the only way I can explain it. Because that's what happened, John. Basically, she told me, you've said not very nice things about me. That was October. January comes around, In Touch Weekly. I've got a list of stuff. Okay, so I sent that back to In Touch Weekly with my rebuttal, and they didn't run the story. John, then
Rachel wants to join the live.
No. Rachel, so then the next thing was I had that letter to In Touch, or I had that email from In Touch, and I was like, oh, Rachel's mad at me, right? But it didn't include any of the other stuff. And then, dun dun dun, then Rachel was like, I'm going to show him, and she went on a warpath, and I didn't know whether to laugh or cry about it, to be honest. There was so much, and it was so much effort. And I just, fucking hell, it was a year after we broke up. It doesn't even make fucking sense to me. Some of it I can understand, some of it I wanted to bring up, but I don't even have anything to say. That whole period, those whole the whole thing, the whole campaign with the flying monkeys and 1 million people messaging me 900 times a day. I don't even know what the point was. They're like, you were messaging girls. Yeah, so what? You were doing this, so what? She wasn't my wife. Like, fuck off. Like, she broke up with me. I can do what I want. I don't know what the obsession was about. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I didn't cheat on Rachel. I didn't cheat on Rachel before we got together. I didn't cheat on Rachel after we got together. I didn't cheat on Rachel when we were together. So I don't know. I wasn't. I don't know. And what I thought was really the strangest part about it all is putting that much effort in, but not including it at the beginning. Like, if you watch her breakup video, she's all teary-eyed. She's all like, love couldn't hold us together. We're two people. Our values have changed. Our communication's not what it used to be. A year later, she's like, yeah, and he abused me, and I caught him fucking chickens in the garden, and then whatever else, right? And I could have gone through it line by line, said, man, that's not true. That's not true. Rachel said some really cruel stuff, which I think just illustrates how mad she was at me. She was mad, and I don't know why, right?
All right, guys, hold on. Rachel's in the chat. Listen, I had Rachel up on my panel like 3 months ago, like when this first came in. Rachel spoke her piece, and John wasn't there. And like, I told Rachel about me being live. She's here. She's watching it. And I'm not going to blindside John with Rachel coming up, just like I wouldn't blindside Rachel with John coming up to do the same thing. Like I gave Rachel her time to go on live with me. And now this is John's time. And like, I asked John, he doesn't want it. So like, that's how this is going to work. I'm friends with both of them. And if Rachel wants to go live with me after this live is over and talk about what John's saying, that's fine. But like, John's my guest right now, and I'm not going to do that to him. Okay. So like, stop that. Like, that's how this is going to work, because I gave Rachel her moment, and now John's having his moment. And if, I'll be more than happy to have Rachel come up right after this live ends, if she wants to come up with me and rebut what John's saying. But like, they are both my friends that I've known for years, and like, I'm going to let John speak his piece. And if Rachel wants to come up afterwards with me on a new live, then we could do that. But this is John's time, and he is not comfortable with Rachel coming up, and we should respect that and respect me for doing it this way. And that's enough. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
So the sequence of events. October, she says to me, "Yo, you've been saying not very nice things about me." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me what they said." And she said, "Oh, you've just been saying not very nice things about me." And so I said to her, "Rach, you broke up with me. You're my ex-wife. Like, I can say what I want." I said, like, so that was October. That's probably around the same time she filed for divorce. There was a whole Christmas thing, and I thought it was a bit cruel. Then so basically, then I got the letter from In Touch, right? She didn't include anything that she sung about in her rap songs in that letter to In Touch. Like, I guess she wasn't ready to release them yet or something, revising them or whatever, right? But here's the craziest thing. I don't really understand. I would never in a million years care. If somebody messaged me and said, "John, Rachel's done this," I wouldn't care. If somebody said, "Oh, but your ex-wife, you see what she's doing," I wouldn't care. If I broke up with her, like, it'd be a bit different. If, like, now just imagine this, John, in the world that I text Rachel, I'm bored. I've been thinking it for a long time. We haven't had any physical intimacy for years. This visa's expensive. I don't even really want to go to America anymore.
Well, when you say like you had an intimacy, it's not because like, you were in a still marriage, because like, you were still living like,
No. But what I mean is, if I'd have texted Rachel, I've checked out. If I'd have texted her, I've checked out. I've been feeling this way for a long time. I know it's going to be hard. Obviously still love you, but this is not working. I think we need to go our separate ways. And by the way, I don't want to be Lucy's dad anymore. If I'd have said that in a text message and just walked away and said, "She's not my kid, not my responsibility," I would have been fucking the most hated person in the world, right? But what Rachel did is Rachel texted me, I don't want to be in this relationship. The visa's too hard. Da, da, da. A few months later, she's like, oh, you're talking shit about me. Okay. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. You never told me, right? A few months later, she's talking to In Touch Weekly. Then she's making these rap songs.
On camera. This is too much. Go ahead. Keep going, John. Sorry. I try not to smoke on camera. Go ahead.
And then she made all these rap songs to prove to the world what a terrible person I am. And then she stopped contact with Lucy, right? Crushing me. And it was a punishment, right? Now, I don't know why I could have, after we broke up, I could have gone out and I could have fucked 50 people. I could have done. I was free, single, could do what I want. So what? I don't know why she cares. Who I spoke to, who saw my dick, who didn't see my dick, who I was sleeping with, who I didn't sleep with. It's none of her business. I don't understand, right? I don't understand. Now, the stuff that she could have an argument about, I got a message today saying, oh, you're trying to be the victim. Learn not to cheat. I didn't cheat on her. And here's the funniest thing about that. I was looking back over it. Her PowerPoint presentation about her name's Joe, right? Me and Rachel both called her Crazy Joe. Crazy Joe is somebody who was obsessed with me, right? I did have sex with her, right? But not while me and Rachel were together. What happened is she was a host, Airbnb host. I was staying with her. I was living with her. I met Rachel. We're talking. Nice. Rachel's got a boyfriend at the time.
Not the Justin guy or the Justin guy.
No. Who the fuck's Justin?
One that was at the.
Oh no! This was 2016. This was before we got together.
Oh, okay.
Right?
This is a long time ago. Okay.
So, right. So there was this Joe. She liked me. We hooked up a couple of times. I said to Joe, look, I want to be with Rachel. She's told me she's pregnant. Right? What was that?
I remember. Okay, I now know what you're talking about. Okay, go ahead.
So basically, Joe said, so what, you're just going to go to America and like be with her? And I said, I haven't even got a passport yet. Calm down, but I do like her and I want to be with, I do want to see where it goes, right? And Joe went out and got me a passport form, said, well, you're going to need this, and gave me the passport form. I was like, okay. And then Joe said to me, we went for a drink and we were living together and there was a pub on the corner. And she said to me, so what's wrong with me? And I said to her, nothing's wrong with you, just not right for me, right? I was trying to be kind. I was ending things. I was telling her that I'm exclusive with Rachel now, right? Joe did something really weird. She joined Smule, the singing app that me and Rachel were on, and she changed, and her name on there was Molly Bear, right? For like Rachel Bear, right? Which was fucking weird. And she was a Facebook friend, right? She was on Facebook, and every time I posted anything or commented or did anything, Joe was the first one to comment every time. She was all every day. And Rachel said to me, this fucking crazy Joe, she's like a turd that won't flush. Can you block her? Right? So I didn't want to block her because then she might say to Rachel, oh, by the way, last year I slept with John. Rachel didn't know about it, but there was no cheating. I was dating other people at the same time. I went on 2 dates while I was living with her. She was not my girlfriend. She was fine. I got with Rachel. We said on the 1st of September or whatever, you know, she told me she was pregnant. And I said, do you want to be a thing? And Rachel said, yeah. I said, look, I've never had an online thing before. And Rachel said, I can't believe that we haven't either. That was the 1st of September, right? That is it, right? There is no nothing, right? There is no there, right? I got my passport in December, right? I moved out in January. Fine, no problem, right? The text messages that Rachel posted, Rachel's pretending she doesn't know who she is. Rachel's like, oh, let me think. I might remember you, right? Oh, tell me more. How do you know John? Rachel knew who she was. She knew where she lived. She knew that she was stalking me. She knew that she was obsessed with me. This is how bad Joe is. Joe is crazy. Joe told me she was pregnant and she was doing it by herself. And I was like, just like Rachel? And she was like, yeah. And I said, oh, good luck with that, right? Joe was trying to, and Rachel knows this, right? Rachel knows who, Rachel used to call her Crazy Joe, right? So when Rachel's posted these screenshots of this conversation, it made it seem like somebody from my past, from 2016, has come out of the woodwork to out me. Didn't out me. It was a set-up conversation. I bet Rachel reached out to her and said, hey, do you have any shit to say about John, right? Or Rachel was teasing it along, and Rachel was like, so, let me get this straight. You were sleeping with John, blah, 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 right? It's staged, right? The whole thing is rotten because Rachel knew who she was, right? So there's that. It is true. But do you know who else was sleeping with somebody in 2016? Do you know who else? Rachel. She had a boyfriend, right? I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know why Rachel's made a PowerPoint presentation to make me look like I was cheating. I had messages from people going, "You're a scumbag for cheating on your pregnant girlfriend." I was like, "What, my fucking baby? I didn't make the baby." Like, it just seems like men who cheat on their pregnant girlfriends are scum of the earth, and that's where Rachel tried to frame me as like, we were having this thing and I cheated on her. Not true, right? Rachel's like, oh, she like, and then in the little text message, she describes my house and she says that she knows my cousins. I looked on a Facebook video of me and my nephews, all my nephews. Joe and Rachel are the only two people that commented. Joe says, "Oh my God, why isn't she wearing a thing as well?" Blah, blah, blah. And then underneath Rachel comments, right? That's how, and in the messages that she's put on this whole screen, like, "Oh yeah, I know he's got nephews, I know their names, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, yeah, you did know their names. Like, there's no there. And Rachel made a big there thing about it. But I didn't, like, I don't understand why she made that a big thing. Because at the time, I was single when I met Rachel. I was dating. I was on Tinder. She knew that. I was living in Joe's house, right, as an Airbnb host. Every now and again, we did hook up over the summer. It wasn't a regular thing. It was fine. I don't know why Rachel would bring that out to be like, "Oh, you cheated on me from the start." I didn't. And I don't know what else to say. Like, I got so many messages. I got literally hundreds of messages telling me I'm a piece of shit for cheating on her when she was pregnant. Every single person forgot that I never made the baby. Like, somebody was having sex in America. That wasn't me. And for Rachel to frame it like I was cheating on her is awful. Because when I met Rachel, she had a boyfriend. And do you know who did cheat on her boyfriend? Do you know who did online stuff? Who did naughty, sexy text messages and stuff? With some loser from England?
I'm going to guess Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't even know why she would bring that up. Because she's like, "You cheated on me, you did this, you did that." Look, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, you had, like, I don't know. I think it feels like Rachel was, I don't know, it almost seemed like she went into her brain and remembered all the worst things that she's ever done and tried to, like, make it look like it was me, right? So there was that. I didn't cheat on her before we got together. It was 2016. I ended things before I got a passport, right? There was nothing, right? Rachel knew who Joe was, and Rachel knew Joe was stalking me. I didn't. Rachel said, "Why is Joe trying to be like me?" I was like, "I don't know," right? The truth is, Joe was obsessed with me, and she was obsessed with me, and she was jealous of Rachel, and she was trying to trap me. Like, she was like,
But
"I'm
this is
pregnant."
all okay. This is all like when you guys first met, right?
Yeah.
So you must have worked past it at some point.
But here's the
Because
thing. I don't even know how it ended up in a screenshot. People were messaging me a fucking year after we broke up about how I'm a piece of shit for cheating on my pregnant girlfriend. And I was like, whoa. And I never responded to none of that, right? And this is the first time I really have responded to it, right? The reality, 2016, I was single, having sex with people in a really nice, active sex life that I was enjoying. Rachel was single, in a relationship, actively having sex with people, persons, whatever, right?
but like
I
you
would
say,
never.
like it's bad. Like, it's not bad. Like you got
It's
like,
not
first off,
bad.
it's 10 years ago. We're all like
But why
we're
would you
all
put
like
it in?
older
Why
now.
would you make a PowerPoint presentation to make your ex-husband look like a piece of shit and frame it in such a way? Nobody asked the question. Everyone said, "You're disgusting. You cheated on your girlfriend. She was pregnant." Nobody asked. Like, where the baby came from. Like, why am I the piece of shit? See? I don't know. But Rachel did want to frame it. She made the whole PowerPoint. She put some music with it. She's like, "Ha, caught you. Look what you've done." I didn't cheat on her. As soon as I found out Rachel was pregnant, and Rachel basically invited me to be a part of her life, I was smitten. I was head over heels, and I that's the truth, and that's the absolute truth. The reason Joe knew when Lucy was born is because I posted it on my Facebook. Joe was on my Facebook. Rachel knew Joe was on my Facebook. Like, this was before social media was big. It was just like my private Facebook, right? It was not a fucking big deal. I was knocking around with Joe. Rachel came along. I ended things. Joe became obsessed with me. Joe became weird with me, and that was it. There was no nothing, and it just shows Joe was obsessed with me, and she apparently reached out to my ex-wife or my wife after we broke up 10 years later. Who the fuck does that? That Joe is crazy. Like, and we did call her Crazy Joe. Think how crazy that seems. I slept with her in 2016. I go on TV, I break up with my wife, and then she reaches out to my wife to say, "Oh, by the way, I slept with him." That's weird, isn't it? Really weird.
Chat is like going crazy. I'm about to shut the chat off right now. I don't like this is insane.
What are they saying, Johnny?
Well, Rachel's there. She wants to come up very badly.
No, she can. No, like, this is the thing. Like, she had her
No,
album.
I said, like, listen, I gave Rachel her time, and, like, you know, if it were you, Rachel, listen to me. Like, you're in the chat. Like, if it were me when I was interviewing you a few months ago when this happened, and John was like, you know, asking to come up, and you said no, I would respect your wishes. And again, Rachel, like, we could do another live right after this ends, but like, I have to respect John right now because I respected you. I gave you your time, and like, I have mods fighting with each other. Like,
John,
good lord. Okay, good. All right. So keep going, John. Sorry, it's fine.
So, like, in my wildest dreams, after she wrote that letter to In Touch Weekly, where she had the interview with In Touch Weekly, and InDrop dropped it because she was projecting. She was the one that went crazy at me after an argument we had about her saying she loved Justin, right? She was the one who disrespected her nan, not me, right? I didn't do anything, right? I paid for Rachel to go and be with her nan when her nan died, right? And then she has the cheek to tell In Touch Weekly that I belittled her because of her dying nan. It's not true, right? It's just patently not true. She told In Touch Weekly that I was obsessed with social media and I was trying to monetize. Rachel was working on a fucking album about a breakup, about me. Like, and she told In Touch Weekly that I take every opportunity to monetize, right? Now, as far as it goes, right, I don't understand. I can understand why stuff would. Pete is. Do you know what my biggest fear, John, was after we broke up? My biggest fear was that I was going to see Rachel pull a new boyfriend out of the air and go, "Da-da!" And everyone was going to be like, "Oh my God, he's so handsome." It was going to be like boyfriend. That's what I thought it was going to be like. Right?
Sorry,
I thought there was going to be. I thought there was going to be
that.
wall-to-wall social media about Rachel with her new boyfriend, and I was terrified and I was hurting that I was going to see Rachel in the zoo with Lucy doing stuff, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, you know, how is he with Lucy?" And they were gonna say, "Oh, he's brilliant." I got it into my head that I was gonna get crushed, right? When I saw somebody with Rachel, and I was gonna get crushed, right? That was what I thought was gonna happen. Like I said, I loved her, and I didn't know she was upset for so long, right? All the stuff she's mad about after we broke up, she needs to deal with herself. Like, that should be an internal, like, battle where you're like, you know, I dealt with that fear, you know? So all that stuff, but actively looking and speaking to somebody I had sex with 10 years ago to try and make me look bad is awful. Like, I never judge Rachel. I was, even yesterday, somebody messaged me, said, "Hope you're still not paying for Lucy." I said, "I'm not, but it's heartbreaking because it makes me feel like a piece of shit because I made a promise that I was always going to be there, and now I'm not there, and it's awful." And they were like, "Well, technically, it's not your responsibility." And I said, "Well, it's not like that." They said, "Well, girls should, like, have better decisions." And I was like, "Look, pregnancies happen." Even yesterday, somebody was saying to me, You know, it's nice that you're still defending her. I said, well, it's not that. It's just that I, you know, I don't understand people who want to slut shame people. Like, you know, like Rachel keeping Lucy was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like those years that I was a dad, those years that I was in Lucy's life, my proudest. Like I loved it, and you know I'm dealing with the fact that that is over, right? And it's a cruel, nasty way to feel.
Did you feel like you were like Lucy's true father, and that
Yeah.
you supported her like a father would?
Do you know what? I was never playing pretend, right? I was never playing stepdad. I never wanted that. The first thing I was going to do if I ever got to America was start the adoption process. That was the first thing I wanted to do. I wanted Lucy to know that she had two parents that loved her whole life. And do you know what? Like, in another world, John, I don't know. I don't know whether, I don't know how Rachel thought it was going to go. She broke up with me. We go our separate ways. But what if my way was having sex with 50 women? What if my way was meeting a new girlfriend online? What if my way was OnlyFans, right? Then what? Would she stop me from being Lucy's dad then for that? Like, because that's what's happened, right? She's so mad, but she wasn't mad when we broke up. She said when we broke up, you can still be in Lucy's life. I won't interfere. I was getting fizzled out and it felt like that. And then a year after we broke up, she's like, oh yeah, he's done this and he abused me and he did this and he did that, right? Honestly, that argument we had about Justin, right? That argument we had about Justin where she's screaming and it was really, really bad, right? I don't want the girls growing up with their mum screaming at someone like that, right? And if we'd have broken up then, that would have been fine. I would have understood why we broke up. But it's really hard. It's really hard. I don't know. People. I wish it was easier for me to defend myself without. I wish it was easier for me to defend myself than highlighting just the absurdity to it all. Like, I shouldn't have to provide screenshots from Rachel talking about Crazy Joe to prove that she knew who Crazy Joe was, to prove that, like,
I don't know why Crazy Joe is like an issue now. Like that was a thing that before, like 2016, before you guys like were official. Like I don't know why this is like a thing that's being spoken about now.
well,
Like okay, this
she
was
made a
someone that
PowerPoint.
like
Yeah, but she made a PowerPoint, but that's the point. Like, Rachel was so mad at me, she went and found that information to show people that I'm a cheater. It's fucking crazy. So, and I don't understand why Rachel's so keen to show everyone about the stuff, you know, I've done or didn't do after we broke up. I've read a lot of it. I've seen a lot of it. And some of it's funny. I read it like this, John. I'm like, that does sound like me. And I look at it and I'm like, I don't remember that. So I don't know. I don't know
Rachel's
why
saying that she has your confession.
she has my confession.
She says, "I have your confession."
I don't know. Whatever. About what?
I don't know. And she has screenshots.
Okay. Because what? She needs to. Yeah, but here's the point. Then that's why we should have broke up. Like the slow drip and the increase in elevation of like anger towards me is weird. The stuff which happened after we broke up, none of her business. The stuff that happened before we got together, none of her business. The only thing in the world that I think she's got any right to talk about is about nothing. Like, she broke up with me for her own reasons. Like, they weren't the reasons she gave, so I don't understand why I don't understand it. Like,
You had said earlier on the live that like, you know, COVID played a big part and like, you know, kind of the separate like a little like it eats the separation. Like COVID happened in 2020. Okay, so like because that's what you had first said, like when we first started this live, like COVID, was like kind of like the starting point of you guys not being as like after COVID happened, like that's 2020. Was it because like you guys could like visit each other, like
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do. Like we saw each other after 2020, like January 2022, right? And to be honest, it was a bit weird. Like our chemistry was weird. It was just not. It
how
was
many
just
times after COVID did you guys see each other? Like, when she,
once.
obviously she had to fly to England to
Yeah,
come
just
see you.
once.
So just once after 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
go ahead.
So it was the first time we'd seen each other for a while. I felt really bad in my own skin. I felt like I didn't feel good about myself. Like um, it was just weird. It was not a good trip. Like after Rachel got back, she said like I don't know. Like I think we both wish we could have had a do over because it was kind of weird. It wasn't as good as it should have been. And I don't know if that's because COVID. I don't know. I don't know whether I don't know. I have thought about it a lot. All I know is that we weren't clicking. We were like the chemistry was off, and that was just a few months.
Think like Rachel always having to be the one, and again, like John, you're my buddy, and like but I'm going to ask these questions. Do you think the fact that it was always Rachel having to bring Lucy and come to England to come see you, you think that was probably a big toll because you could never come to Albuquerque or New
Yeah,
Mexico
yeah, yeah.
to see.
Awful, awful. Like I can, it is awful. It is awful. I can imagine like the flight. It would have been a pain in the ass. Like, and I understand. I do understand. But after 20 after that meeting, that was when we had that big argument about Justin. um and maybe that's where we should have called it a day. It was not nice. Like it was not a nice argument. It was just after we had our last meeting, so like the chemistry, we were still like, I think we both moved on, so we'd ignored it. And if we'd have broken up then, if Rachel had come back to me after a week and said, hey John, I don't like who I become when we argue. I don't like who you become when we argue. We don't have to be toxic and so volatile. And if we'd have called it a day then, I would have had enough. I would have said, okay, I would have been fine with that. But we didn't. We spoke about it, we gave it a week, we spoke about it. And then we kissed and made up, and then we carried on. And the next 2 years, it was a slow death, I think, to our relationship. But I don't understand. I still don't think I'll ever understand it. I'm not hard guy. I'm not a hard guy to break up with. It only took one text, right? Rachel could have told me in that text everything she said in her rap songs, everything she said I've ever done, every time or whatever, right? She could have put it all in there. Every time that we'd had an argument and she said she forgive me, every time that she said sorry to me, then she wasn't sorry. Every time that I misheard something, or every time like I didn't fulfill my promise, she could have told me then. Like she could have told that to me when we broke up, and I would have been like, okay, I understand this, right? It was a kind, soft breakup. It was teary eyed. I said to her I was having a panic attack, or I was having fucking. She told me, why don't you go to the gym? Why don't you start playing football again? And I was like, that was the last nice thing she said to me. I think go to the gym. After that, we were speaking. I sent her my bank details so she could start Roblox. Like literally sent her my bank card. There was I'd had no ill will, or I had nothing bad to say about Rachel, and I still really don't. I mean, I talk about the things that she's brought light on, that she shined a light on stuff, but I never would have told anyone about that stuff about her nan if she hadn't told In Touch Weekly that I was belittling her. Um, so, so I don't know. I don't know. She got mad somewhere along the line. Now, I don't know what triggered it, but she did go on a warpath. And I've never seen anyone in any relationship I've ever known get so mad at someone and not, like, for fucking nothing. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Is I can't even understand it. She's not the same person that I married, she fell in love with. She's not the same person. She's not even the same person who broke up with me. The person who broke up with me was the kind, compassionate Rachel I'd always known, you know. And she was kind to me, and she knew I was struggling with the breakup, and I don't know. She went from that to fucking let's ruin his life. And the thing is, she can't ruin my life. And here's the craziest thing about it is, right? I didn't cheat on her, so that's not true. So anything people saying that doesn't bother me because it's not true. Like I didn't, right? Okay, so there's that. We broke up. Okay. People told her stuff. She had a little snoop or whatever, or she found stuff out, or she went looking or asking somebody who I slept with 10 years ago, right? To make a whole big thing like, hey guys, look at this. Right? I don't care. Like, I've never cared, right? I've never cared about anyone online. I've not cared, don't care about trolls, don't care, right? I'm almost shameless. Like, I say, I do, that's fine, right? But Rachel, and I saw a couple of clips from her lives with you, and I saw some other stuff. People sent me some videos, and the venom and the cruelty in some of the stuff she was saying, like, your dad left you. I'm not surprised your dad didn't want to raise you. I was just like, really? Like fucking hell. Like, it's not her. I don't know where it's come from, but it's come from somewhere deep inside. And I don't know if it's always been there and I missed it. I don't know. And the hardest thing is that she's also like paved the way. She's like, yeah, he's a total narcissist. I had to explain to In Touch Weekly, if I was a narcissist, I would have made a breakup video. If I was a narcissist, maybe I would have gone live. Maybe I would have done something. I haven't posted anything about it. Like, I have not posted for a year. But somebody messaged me and said, oh, it's just an act. You're just trying to be a nice guy. It's just a nice guy act. I was thinking, I've sworn at people for 10 years online. I've called more people cunts than anyone else I know in the world, right? I've never pretended to be nice to people. Like, I've made a point of making enemies with people, right? So there's the craziest thing. Rachel's like, he's just pretending to be nice. He's actually really shitty. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Rachel knew that the trolls never bothered me. I hated them. Rachel used to cry about the stuff they used to say about her. They never bothered me. And when we were together, people used to say shit about her all the time. People would be horrible to Rachel. And I thought it was best. This is going to sound funny, but I thought I would rather them hate me and think Rachel's not bad, or like dislike us as a couple if they want to, but just like hate me. So when they said, oh, you and Rachel are scammers, Lucy's not really yours, oh, Rachel's fucking getting pregnant, blah, 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 baby daddy number 3, or whatever they were saying, I would always roll on them. I would give them shit, right? And then years later, they're still out on Reddit. They're like, oh, John's he called me a cock wobbler one day, blah, blah, blah. They're still like angry about it, right? And I took that fire to try and deflect from Rachel. And Rachel knew that was the plan. Even before the show aired, like, that was always going to be the plan. And it just seems like she knows I hate In Touch Weekly. She knows I hate the gossip rag. She knows I hate fake news. She knows I hate rumors and conspiracies. She knows I hate that stuff. She knows I hate drama. I hate all of that. And then when we broke up, she's just climbed into bed with the trolls and I don't know if the trolls were making up fake stuff to give to her, or whether she was telling them to make it up, or whether she was making it up and sharing it and saying, right? I don't know if she had I don't know. In my head, I'm thinking she might have had a WhatsApp group of all these people, right? And I don't know. Like, if anybody sent me stuff that she'd done or said, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't write a rap song about it, right? And she broke up with me. Like, so it's it's really hard because I never fell out with Rachel. Rachel never did anything that made me hate her, right? Even all this stuff. I've been on a journey. I've been in therapy. I've been in the gym. I've been in more therapy. I've developed an eating disorder. I have insomnia, right? I'm a fucking mess, right? And I'm a mess because my reality changed. I thought I was a dad and a husband, and I thought I had a future planned in my head, right? That I worked on, and I built that image, that fucking life, and that was taken away from me. And then a year after, I realized perhaps I was never a dad. Perhaps it was all fake. Perhaps, like, I don't know where it ended. I don't know where it became. I don't know. I don't know where it happened. And I had probably an identity crisis, and I wanted to just get back to who I was before I met her. I wanted to just, but there was no anger. There was no part of me that was like, I'll show them. Um, Even some of the cruelest stuff Rachel said about me, I don't know if she was just burning bridges to make it easy to break up with me. I don't know whether she broke up with me and then didn't want anyone else didn't want anyone else to have me. I don't know whether she didn't want to share the internet. I don't know whether it was about Lucy and she wanted to make she wanted to smear my character so bad that it justified stopping me from being Lucy's dad. Because potentially we broke up. I could fuck 50 women and still be Lucy's dad. But for some reason she's like, no. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why she cared so much about anything after we broke up. And
You
I
know
feel
what,
also,
John? Since we're being no, let me just jump in. Since this all this is going on, I might as well ask the $64,000 fucking question that everybody else is asking in the chat. What say you about Tiffany and all that shit? Let's just get this all out in the open because Tiffany came up when I was live with Rachel, and Rachel was feeling a certain way about Tiffany. Tiffany came up and Tiffany gave her side of the story. So I'm going to ask you the same question. What I am trying to hold it together right now because like you guys are like both of you like you've been me, you, and Rachel have started from the beginning, and I am trying to hold back fucking tears right now because it's breaking my fucking heart. But since like everything is just all fucked, all is completely fucked. This is all fucked.
Johnny, it's
So,
okay.
You tell me what happened with Tiffany, so I can hear your side of it because everybody else wants to know. And Tiffany came up when I had Rachel up, and so let's just get this done.
Tiffany's been my friend for years, a long time, right? She's been a good friend for a long time. I like her. I've always liked her. Rachel knew I was friends with her, right? But Rachel said to me, "Oh, why are you talking about Tiffany?" Because I was talking about Ronald one day, and she said, "I don't want you talking to her." I was like, "Oh, because blah blah blah." And basically she said she's beautiful, and I don't want you talking to her. So, I'm correcting myself there. She said Devon, right? She said to me, I said, "Oh, because she's my friend and we speak sometimes." And she said, "I don't want you speaking to her," right? She said, "I want you to block her."
You can speak
right?
to Devin or Tiffany?
Yeah, well, here's the confusion. I can't remember if she said I can't remember if she said
And Devin and Tiffany are both my very close friends as well. So like,
right.
this is great. I
So
love this.
basically, there was Devon and Jihan, right? And we would chat on live or line or whatever it was called, like, and it would like translate into Korean, right? So they were like, anyway. Rachel said to me, why she wanted me to block Devon, so I said okay. So I blocked her. Ages later, she sends me a screenshot. Devon, right?
Why Devin?
Because she's beautiful. I don't know, right?
But
But listen to this.
You never met Devin.
No, but listen to this. This is where it gets crazy. I was like, okay, like if you want, but like she kind of pulled rank on me. She said, "I'm telling you, I'm not happy with you following her. I want you to delete her off social media." I said, okay. Months later, Rachel shows me a screenshot of Tiffany and says, "Why are you still following her?" And she sends a screenshot through, and I'm looking at this thinking, "What, Tiffany? What's wrong with Tiffany?" And she said, "I told you to delete her." I said, "You said Devon." Rachel said to me, "Devon, Tiffany, same thing." And I just fucking burst out laughing. I was like, they're different people, right? They're different
No, they
people.
are different people. I'm just.
So
This
Rachel
is
got mixed up. Rachel wanted me to block Tiffany. Rachel wanted me to block Tiffany, and she asked me to block Devon or whatever, right? So, and I only remember that part of the conversation because I thought it was funny. I was like, "Babe, they're different people." She was like, "Well, whatever, Tiffany. Why are you?" And she said, why are you
I'm
such
listening.
friends with people on the show?" I was like, "We're not like it's okay like to chat with people. Like I'm allowed friends, right?" Um,
Right.
so there was that, and then um, so Tiffany. Rachel was jealous of Tiffany, but I had no idea she was jealous of Tiffany. I thought Rachel was jealous of Devon, right? So for a long time, Rachel was jealous of Tiffany, which I did not know about. Um, you there?
Figure out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why Rachel would be jealous of Devin and Devin and Tiffany came on the show as cast members from The Other Way. Like, and that was very different from like, you're on the Fortnite days, like Devin and Tiffany like were together on the Fortnite days. And like I, I
The reason I like them, and it wasn't just them. I like Jehoon and Ronald to start with, is because they were guys that were also um, getting
so
into a
wait,
family.
wait. I got hold on. So what you're saying is that like or
I
maybe what
relate to them because
Rachel had a problem with anybody that was pretty because Devin and Tiffany are both pretty girls.
wow, the reason I liked them is because they both
Did
had
she give
kids.
you a problem like with being friends with Angela or Danielle Jabali or Jenny? Like I don't know who your friends
Yeah.
are on the show,
No,
but
no,
like
no.
if you were friends with Danielle Jabali, would Rachel been okay with it?
Yeah, she would have been fine.
Listen,
I was in a group chat. I was in a group chat with Devon and Jahoon,
Rachel's
right?
beautiful. I'm not. Rachel's a
Yeah,
beautiful girl. I've told her a million times.
yeah,
She's a
right. So and the reason I liked them as couples is because they were the other couples in the season after us, where it was a guy taking on a kid. Ronald. Ronald obviously had a
right.
baby. They both had babies, but they also became stepdads, and like I like that blended family, and I wanted to support them, and as couples,
Well,
right?
that's a good segue. Rachel came. I'm sorry. Tiffany came on the show. She had her baby, and then she met Ronald, and
Yeah,
Ronald
yeah,
kind of was the same situation that you were. Like
kind of that, and like so the dynamic of those two couples, right? I liked, right? That's fine. Rachel says, I don't want you speaking to Devon. I said, no problem, right? No problem at all. Ages go by, long time. I don't even know I don't know when it was, but it turns out Rachel didn't mean Devon. She meant Tiffany because she got the names mixed up, right? So I was just like, then why are you always like reaching out? Why are you trying to be friends with people on the cast of the show? I said, because we're going through the same stuff, because I'm up in
you're muted. You're muted. Can't hear you. You did something.
you know?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Right. So I didn't think there was anything wrong with be friends with. I was friends with like Corey and Evelyn as well. And I speak to him now. Like it's fine, right? No problem, right? It's fine. It was fine. Rachel basically didn't want me. Right? Anyway, it was around Valentine's Day, and it was 2022, and I might have misremembered this. Basically, I can't remember how the conversation came up. It was like I can't remember how the conversation came up. Me and Tiffany, we spoke. We were friends. It was fine. She was driving back from Maryland or driving back to the airport or whatever, and basically it was a late night, and I either said, "If you're up, I'll give you a call. Keep you company, or or I'll give you a call later if
Because
I'm free."
Rachel has it in her head, and like I brought Tiffany up, because
Yeah,
Tiffany's my buddy too, and between me, you, Rachel, and Tiffany,
Tiffany's amazing.
I
Tiffany's
spent time with.
amazing.
I spent a lot of. I've been to her house. I've been to her mom's house. We went to Vegas together. I know Tiffany pretty fucking well, and Tiffany's told me everything always. So it was a shock to me to hear that Tiffany was kind of getting roped into this.
Wow, this is it. Whatever the conversation was, I called Tiffany one night. That whatever we'd spoken on the phone before. It wasn't like a secret thing. It wasn't like a whatever. It was. I tell you when it was. It was just around Valentine's Day, because I know that because Rachel hadn't spoken to me for a week, right? So that's the timeline I know. I know when it was because I remember, because I hadn't spoken to Rachel for a fucking while. Anyway, me and Tiffany were speaking, chatting about this, that, and the other, putting the world to rights, talking shit about Ronald. Like, it's fine. At some point, I don't know how the conversation ended. I don't know how it ended. I don't remember. I just woke up in the morning. I was like, oh, fuck, I fell asleep. Right? I've fallen asleep mid-conversation with Rachel many times because we talk, it's late. Before I had insomnia, staying awake was hard, right? But um, so basically, some point I fell asleep. That's what happened, right? There's no, like, I don't know what the fucking big deal is. And the thing is, if me and Tiffany were in a romantic thing and we were sneaking around and anything like
Did
that.
you ever meet Tiffany in person?
What?
Did you ever meet Tiffany in person?
No. And this was 2022. This was 2 years before we broke up, right? So Rachel comes back, we speak, we have whatever. When she found out that I'd fallen asleep on the phone with Tiffany, right? It was almost a throwaway thing, right? Because I said it to a friend of ours, like a mutual friend. My friend, Rachel's friend, said, "Can you call me because I'm going to the airport, I'm picking up my parents or I'm dropping them off or whatever. It's a late call. If you're up, I'll call you and you can keep me company." And I said, "Oh, I don't want to fall asleep like last time," right? And they said, "Oh, you fell asleep on the phone." I said, "Yeah, when Tiffany called me, I fell asleep on the phone," right? It was basically throwaway, right? It wasn't a secret. It was just me saying, "Oh yeah, that's just that's basically," I was saying, I can, but I don't want to fall asleep like I did last time. Right? I don't know how the conversation ended with Tiffany. I don't know if I just started snoring. I don't know whether we lost connection. I don't know. I don't know how it ended. I never actually spoke to Tiffany about it. Oh, did I fall asleep? Like, it was just the end. So I told a mutual friend. Our mutual friend told Rachel, and Rachel messaged me like 10 seconds and was like, "Want to tell me something about Tiffany?" And I adore Tiffany, so I was like, "No, no, I don't want to tell you anything." And then her friend joined the fucking call. It was a three-way call, and falling asleep on the phone when Tiffany was driving, or I'd fallen asleep at some point during the conversation. It's not even I don't even know why it's a big thing. That's not even why we broke up, right? Anyway, she comes on the phone with Rachel. She's like, "Why don't you just tell Rachel the truth?" So I said, "Okay." So I said, "This is it." I was on the phone with Tiffany. At some point I fell asleep. Don't really remember. I woke up in the morning. I was like, "Oh, I must have fallen asleep." It was that throwaway. I wasn't like. Anyway,
So
Tiffany.
I had to say this because
Yeah.
this is when I was live with Rachel and Tiffany
Yeah.
had said that that conversation never happened. So you're saying that it did happen.
Do you know what? Either I remembered it wrong and she wasn't traveling to the airport or whatever, but this is what I remember. I remember being on the phone with Tiffany one night, and we were friends. We spoke on the phone. There was no problem with that, right?
I had to be fair, and like I
right?
remember that live, and Tiffany said like that never happened. But
Yeah.
you're saying it did
Well,
happen. Maybe Tiffany didn't remember it that way, like, but whatever.
I
But
think, yeah, I definitely had a phone call with Tiffany at some point. I did fall asleep. Right now, what the way Rachel's framed it is that me and Tiffany were sleeping on the phone together, right? Or anything, nothing like that happened. For all I know, Tiffany thought I'd lost signal and thought, oh, John's phone must have run out of battery, and she just carried on her fucking drive. Like, all what I'm saying is like, from my perspective, I had a phone call, I was speaking to her, I woke up next day, right? From Rachel's perspective, we had an affair and we both climbed into bed and we were sleeping on the phone secretly together. Not that, right? So I can understand why Tiffany would be like, that never happened, because Rachel's framing it in such a way that it was a big fucking thing. It wasn't anything. For all I know, Tiffany was like, hello, hello, and then just carried on with her day and then forgot about it. Like, it wasn't a thing. There was no big
basically,
fanfare.
it was not that important of a conversation for Tiffany to even remember it because like, it was like a.
It might,
In,
John, I've been on the phone with you, we lost signal, and then your friend gets back to you and
I've
says, oh, my phone
I've
died.
actually fallen I've actually fallen asleep with you on the phone. So I
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? From my perspective, it was a nothing. And the only reason I mentioned it is because she said, I'm driving to the airport. And I said, oh, I hope I don't fall asleep again, right? Because it was literally like, I remember the airport or something, right? So here's the thing, right? Rachel painted me as a liar, as a cheat, as a thief. Why does Rachel believe me? Like, right? She's trying to make a mountain out of like that. This is the truth, right? I was friends with Tiffany. I spoke to her on the phone. Some point, one time, I fell asleep, and I just remembered it. And I was in a conversation with somebody else who was also, who was, and like the thing is, I watched the live, and I heard Tiffany said like, and Tiffany made a good point. Rachel was like, well, why would John say that? And Rachel and Tiffany made a really good point. If Rachel's claiming I'm a liar, then why does Rachel believe me? Like, why does she like? Or does she think I'm lying? Does she think me and Tiffany were having an affair and I've been caught out because of this one lie that I let slip? No, Rachel knows I'm not a liar, right? She knows that when I told her, yeah, we were on the phone and I fell asleep, and the next day I was like, oh, I must have fallen asleep. I don't remember how the conversation ended. I don't even remember. We might have had bad signal. I could have dozed off. Like, I've fallen asleep writing text messages and woken up and just had like, like,
So then
so.
Rachel would have been right when she had said on my live that you guys had this conversation, and then Tiffany said, no, I didn't.
But what conversation? What the conversation Tiffany's denying is the big fucking, oh, you were
I'm
sleeping
not
on the phone.
I'm not like trying to be a dick to you. I'm not, because I love you, John. I love Rachel too, and I also love Tiffany. I fucking love Devin. So like, I'm in like unfamiliar territory here because God Almighty. But I do remember from the live I did with Rachel a few months ago when Tiffany was up, and like Rachel said that there's this conversation happened when you guys fell asleep on the phone. Not that like you guys had phone sex or whatever, but you had like a conversation when you guys fell asleep on the phone. And maybe Tiffany didn't remember because maybe in Tiffany's eyes, I talk to people all the time late at night, and like something about driving in the car or something like that. And like, but Rachel would have been right. And again, God,
No, but Rachel wouldn't have been right. Like, Rachel can't in the same breath say John's a liar and then say, oh no, John said this. So Tiffany, like, this is the thing, right? All I know is from my perspective, I don't remember ending the conversation. I remember chatting to her, and then I was like, and I thought about it the next day. I was like, oh, I don't remember nothing about, right?
but
The
like, here's
last
the
thing I
thing,
remember,
Rachel. Listen, Rachel, I know you're going to chat. Like, listen, we're all a family, right? Like, I'm pretty much a cast member. At least back in the day, I was like cast adjacent. Like, I got treated like a cast member. Like, that's how I got popular. Like, everyone treated me like I was on the show with them, right? And like, I have spoken to millions of cast members. Like, I have spoken to John on the phone late at night. I've talking to Paul on the phone late at night. And like, Cody's never been like, oh, why are you talking to John in the middle of the night? Like, do you like, are you going to cheat on me with John Walters? Like that's, do you see like what I'm trying to say here? Like, I was like, there's been a million times like where I've been on the phone as a blogger talking to like either John, Paul, George, Ringo, Jesus, who the fuck knows. And I've spoken to people, and like Cody has never been to me like, oh, who are you talking to? Like, are you cheating on me with them? Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think I did watch it, and I do understand it. And Tiffany made a really good point. Right? Rachel was like, "Okay, well, why did John say it then?" And Tiffany was like, "I don't fucking know. Like, it's your fucking husband. You tell me. You're the one saying he's a liar, right?" I, do you know what? In a perfect world, Tiffany could have said, "Oh, I was friends with John. We are friends. We have spoken on the phone. If he fell asleep, I would have thought it was a lost connection or something. I don't know. I never thought about it, right? In a perfect world, right? But Tiffany saying she doesn't remember, well, that never happened. I think she's obviously talking about like the framework that Rachel's framed it, like you and John sneaking around, sleeping on the phone together, because we didn't sleep on the phone together. Me and Tiffany didn't like climb into bed and say good night, and then put the phone on fucking loudspeaker and fall asleep. Like, we didn't do that. It was not that. It was literally me waking up the next day thinking, oh. So it was nothing. It was a fucking mountain out of a molehill, right? And I can understand why Tiffany's like, that did not happen, because what Rachel's fucking making this big mountain out of didn't happen. It's nothing.
I think that Tiffany's like, like how I'm seeing it now, like, maybe just Tiffany didn't remember it, because it's,
yeah, it wasn't significant. It wasn't significant. I didn't text her the next day and say, "Oh no, I fell asleep last night," or she said, "Oh, you were snoring." Like, we never had a conversation about it. I've never spoken to Tiffany about it, right? So basically, like, one conversation we had that I remembered that I fell asleep is nothing. Like, so.
Of contention, because Rachel knew of this conversation that you and Tiffany had. That
because I told her. Because I told her. Right? And it's all like, you had a conversation, you didn't have a conversation, you fell asleep, you didn't fall asleep, right? I don't even remember for all I know, we lost signal, and while it was reconnecting, I fell asleep. I don't know. I don't know how it ended, right? Do you know what? I don't know. I don't have an answer. All I know is that when I woke up, I was like, oh. My phone stuck to my face. I'm face down, so yeah. So, and if you ask Rachel, I fell asleep on the phone with her many times, right? Just mid-conversation. Just because we're talking.
With Tiffany or Rachel?
With Rachel, right? I happened because I put it on speakerphone. I lay there like this. I'm talking, and then my eyes get heavy, and then, right? And so I've fallen asleep on the phone. Like, it's not the fucking end of the world, and it's not a fucking. And from Tiffany's perspective, Tiffany never would have known, I don't think, if I'd fallen asleep. Like. So I don't know why Rachel's. And the funny thing is, that's not why we broke up. If that was why we broke up, if Rachel said, "Look, you had a phone call with another woman, it was completely it was completely irresponsible and disrespectful, and you fell asleep, and I think that's a bridge too far." If we'd have broken up because of that, I would have pleased like I am now, trying to. But the thing is, the people who think I'm a liar and a cheat don't believe me. They think I'm a liar and a cheat. Rachel, she either believes I fell asleep on the phone, or she thinks I'm a liar and a cheat. Like, I don't know. But here is the thing, though, John, and I will say this. Tiffany is my favourite. Tiffany is the only person in the world who phoned me up or called me after we broke up. She reached out to me after me and Rachel broke up and said, "How are you doing?" It was like a couple of weeks after. She said, "Hey, how you doing?" Right? And I said, "Not good." Nobody else, not one fucking person in this world reached out and asked if I was okay, apart from Tiffany. And Tiffany's a great person. She's a good mum. She's funny, and she's kind. And I've got nothing bad to say about Tiffany, and I never did. And I think Rachel didn't like that.
See, I'm looking at the chat right now, and Brooke's saying it's on her right. I don't know why that's a bad thing for Tiffany to ask John how he's doing. She's a cast member asking another cast member how they're doing.
But
And
it's not that, John.
maybe I'm blind by the fact that they're both my friends, but like, if like, when me and Cody split up like 5 years ago, and we were like, I had people coming to me like with the like
John, I had nobody.
I don't see Tiffany asking John like, "Are you okay?" as like just like a horrible thing.
It's not. And the thing is, the craziest thing is, it's not about the fact that she checked in on me. It was the fact that she was the only one that checked in on me.
Rachel, you're in the chat. Did anybody ask you? I mean, I asked you. I mean, I'm not on the show, but like I asked you. Like, I'm sure Rachel, like, you've had cast members reach out to you to see how you were doing after the fact, right?
John, I didn't have no one in my family reached out. Nobody. I checked out. Like I went into a real bad place, and Tiffany was the only one who asked me if I was okay, and she went through a very, very public breakup, and she gave me some great advice, and she was kind, and she was everything you would want from a friend, right? So whether like whether we lost connection and I fell asleep while the phone was reconnecting, or whether I fell asleep and she was like, "Oh, where's John gone?" Like, I don't know what happened, but I'm not a liar and I don't have an internal monologue. So like, I just said it as it is. Has John reached out to everyone? Their fucking mothers.
That's Rachel.
What? She needs to turn a caps lock off. He was friends with Tiffany a long time before the breakup. Yeah, I was. What's the problem? Like, I don't even understand. Right? So here's the thing. Maybe if we'd have broken up because of it, I could understand it. Rachel could have been mad. As mad as she is now that I fell asleep whilst fucking talking to someone else, right? But the problem is, she didn't. She accepted.
All right, so let's flip. Okay, let's flip it. So I remember, and no one knows this story, but me, John, and B. John and Rachel. But back when we all first started talking, and when Jonathan the realtor, was it Jonathan the realtor? You know where I'm going with this. There was like a dick pic thing that Jonathan put on his story, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I'm just playing devil's advocate because Jonathan had the dick pic thing, and I was talking to Rachel about it, and this is almost a decade ago. And Rachel, I'd given it to Rachel, the picture, and and you lost your shit. But also, that was a dick pic, so it's probably different. But I remember that, Rachel, and then like you and John had a big fight over it because I didn't need a picture, and like.
But here's the thing, Johnny. Here's the thing. Rachel told me you never sent it to her. She said you were just talking about it, and I was like, "Why the fuck would you want to? Why?"
Oh, she because you yelled at me for it, John. I remember that. You yelled at me.
But here's the thing, why? Why would? Why?
And that was probably I probably should not have done that, but we were talking about it. It was a big thing, like, oh, John, realtor John, put his dick on his story, and like we were talking about it, I sent it to Rachel, and then you got mad at me for it because, and probably rightfully so. I don't know, but
yeah, why but there's the thing, Rachel did tell me you were talking about that, right? Or she said that whatever. And I asked her if you sent it, and she said no, right? So the argument wasn't about you actually sending it. That wasn't it. I was just like, I don't know. But he was a cast member. He was a current cast member,
and it was a big story, that's everyone was talking about, like Jonathan's dick pic when Fernanda put on a story, or whatever, and I did send it to Rachel, and then because I was talking, because the three of us have always been tight, so then I felt bad about it because I'm like, oh my god, I sent that to her, and now you guys are.
Yeah, but John, if I don't know, if whoever accidentally accidentally put some nudes on their story and you sent it to me, Rachel would have been just as mad at that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because we weren't even bad then. Like, it was not like we were. It's not like we're like.
No, it was the very beginning. Like when you got
If
when
there
your
was another,
episodes were
if
airing.
there was another cast member who accidentally leaked some nudes or whatever, and you sent that to me, and you were like, "Oh, John, look at her vagina," right? Rachel would have gone mad about it, right? Of course she would have done. But here's the thing: like jealousy is funny, right? We're in a long distance relationship, and we're quite trusting, right? We're still quite trusting. I didn't cheat on her, right? I never thought she was cheating on me, right? As far as our relationship goes, I actually thought it come from a place of like quite a lot of trust. And although Rachel had trust issues and she's a jealous person, I think over the years, Rachel could call me up at any point, any time, you know, and whenever she was jealous, and like I could prove it. People don't know this, but we almost never made it. We almost broke up before the show because I found out that Rachel, I wasn't the first person from Shmuel, the singing app that Rachel met up with. Some guy flew in from wherever the fucking fuck he came from. I don't know where he is. His name's Jesse, right? And he met up with her and they stayed in a hotel. And I found out about it, right? And she stayed in one room and he stayed in another room. And I was like, oh. And she was like, no, nothing happened. He was just a friend. I was like, friends don't travel across country to stay in a hotel and not fuck, right? So there was this whole thing. And that was the last time, that was the last time I was really jealous. I was insecure, I was jealous, and I felt almost betrayed that she'd met somebody else from the singing app, another singer, some guy called Jesse. So, like, and that was really early days, right? I found out about that. That was like, I think it was just before we met, actually. I think the network was already involved. They were getting ready for our first meeting. It was around that time. And jealousy's funny, right? But she begged me. She was like, "No, I stayed in a hotel," because I was like, "You didn't." Wow. Then he stayed in your house, and she goes, "No, he didn't stay in my house. He stayed in a hotel." I said, "Where did you?" Oh, and he just stayed there. And she went, "I was in a different room, the other side of the hotel." I was like, I know that if someone flew 500 miles or 1,000 miles to come and see me, and we both booked 2 rooms in a hotel for a night out, it would have seemed like a romantic interest. And, you know, and the only reason I'm bringing that up is because that was the only time I was ever real jealous. I was like, you fucking what? I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know how long ago it was, when it was, this, that, and the other. After that, I never distrusted her. She made me feel like I could trust her. And I hope that throughout our relationship, I did that. I did fuck up. I did fuck up when I lied, when she said, "Oh, do you want to tell me about Tiffany?" And I said, Tiffany, who? I was like, no. And that was a big thing. She was like, "You promised you'd never lie to me." I just didn't want to have that conversation. I just because I knew Carol just told her. And I was like, fuck's sake. So that was it. And I hope for the rest of the relationship, I hope she wasn't jealous. I hope she wasn't insecure. I hope the entire time we were together, I hope it wasn't riddled with doubt and, um, I don't even know what the word is. I hope.
Don, is there any possible way that I could put Rachel up right now? Because
no, John. The thing is, right?
I will respect your wishes.
John, listen to this, John. John, we broke up. I accepted her reasons. I went into a deep depression. I nearly killed myself. Lots of times I thought to myself that I didn't know how I was going to make it to the end of the week, right? I was broken, right? Then I picked myself up a little bit, moved on. And then she went to In Touch Weekly, talking shit to them about me, right? Then she made all the rap songs about me, right? About stuff we done. She made a PowerPoint presentation about
pause. Stop. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I gave Rachel the same platform I'm giving John now months ago when this happened. John wasn't in my chat. He watched it from afar, and not just shade Rachel, but like that's what he did. And it took John, what, 4 or 5 months to come onto my channel and talk about this now? And that's not fair. This comment is not fucking fair because this is my interview with John. This is John giving his side of the story. And I have tried not once but twice against my own better judgment to ask John to make him feel uncomfortable when I'm trying to interview him as a guest. And that's not right. I'm sorry. That's not right. Like, I should not even ask John at all if you want Rachel come up. But I asked not once but twice, but thrice now, and he said no, and that's his prerogative. I have done this. I have been interviewing people for years, and I have never been in this position before, and this is fucked up for you to put me in this position because that's fucked up. I am friends with John. I am friends with Rachel, and I am friends with Tiffany, Devin, and Jesus Christ, and all the saints. And this is bullshit. This is bullshit. What you're telling me right, this is bullshit. I'm not going to drop John on an interview that we put together for Rachel. That will never fucking happen. And if I was a grimy blogger, I wanted to get the views, I would bring Rachel up real fucking quick. And then that was like, my integrity would go out the fucking window with that. So I am done with this. John is going to say his fucking piece. I asked him 3 times when I should have only asked him once, and he doesn't want it. So this is John's time.
John,
and if Rachel can go live with me right after this live ends. I've tried, and it is what it is. But fuck everybody, and you can leave my chat and never fucking come back because I am trying to do what's right. And this is John's time, and that's it. This is his interview. John.
This is hard. I wanted to talk.
John. I'm sorry. You know what, John? I apologize to you, John. I do. I am sorry, John, that I put you in the position to ask you 3 times for her to come up and be okay with it because that didn't happen when Rachel was on my panel. You weren't in the chat. You weren't saying stuff. And Rachel, this has got nothing to do with you, Rachel. I'm saying when Rachel was on my panel, it was, she didn't have to worry about John being in my chat. And also another thing that didn't happen when Rachel was live with me 3 months ago was that John was in the chat saying stuff, which and Rachel excused things. That's how it works. I am interviewing John right now. We're talking. Rachel, I wouldn't blindside you like that. And if you want me to pick a side, this is not Rachel, you can go live and with me right as soon as this live ends, we can go live again, and you could rebut everything John said with the receipts and the proof and everything. But it's not fair to John because you had the platform on my channel and you spoke your truth, and now John's speaking his truth, and I'm sorry. It's
all right, John.
Go ahead, John.
I don't think Rachel knows how much the breakup broke me. And maybe this is an audience of 1 right now, but I was crushed, and I sunk into a real dark place, and I didn't handle it very well. I didn't handle anything. I didn't handle life very well. I didn't think I was going to be around. I got to the place where I thought it'd be better if I killed myself and Lucy missed me because I wasn't here. Then Lucy hate me because of what Rachel was saying about me. That's where I got to. I thought I'd be better off. I thought it'd be better off if I wasn't here. My mum and my sister were good as gold. They were worried about me. I was being reckless. I was self-destructing. I was starving myself. I wasn't sleeping for days on end. It was bad, John. Right, and it was bad. Not because I hated Rachel, but because I loved her. It was bad because I was I was sad that I was never gonna be a part of her life anymore, a part of Lucy's life. And I was spiraling, and I spiraled, and I thought I was spiraling to oblivion. And on the way, I was being self-destructive. And those fucking, I don't know. I don't know why Rachel cares who I spoke to, who I didn't speak to. I don't know why any of the screenshots or any of the stuff that was made, because I know what trolls are like. And I know that the guys at my work were like, "Oh, a new rap song coming up. What do you think it's going to be about?" And I was like, "Fuck knows," right? I didn't know if people were making up stuff and sending it to her. I didn't know if she was fucking making it up, or she was sending people to like try and get stuff out of me. But I honestly didn't care at the time. Like nothing mattered to me. Like I was so fucking. I was on a self-destructive path. Now, luckily, I don't drink. Luckily, I don't do drugs because I would have spiraled to absolute oblivion, and that's what it did to me. Um, on the other side, I had no idea that Rachel was so mad at me. I know she said to me, "Oh, you've been saying not very nice things about me," but I didn't think that was worthy of like ruining my entire fucking life. I didn't think it warranted like I didn't think anything warranted like now, like you said, she spoke her truth. It would have been nice if she'd have spoke it when we broke up. Would have been nice if she spoke it 2 years ago. Would have been nice if she'd have spoke it whenever. But everything I did after we broke up is none of her business. Who I spoke to, who I didn't speak to, who I became friends with, who I was dating, not dating, right? Who sent me pictures, who I sent pictures. Like I was in a real broken place, you know, and I was I was clutching and scratching for fucking anything that would make me feel alive or make me feel like I existed. And uh, any of that stuff that Rachel wrapped up and put into a rap song, oh look at him. It doesn't matter. Like she can't humiliate me. She can't shame me. I was fucking shameless and broken, and all of that because I know that my life was irrelevant. Like that's how I was feeling at the time. So that was probably for an audience of one because I've never really spoke to Rachel about it. But I I don't know. I a part of me a part of me tries to rationalize it. Like she broke up with me and said, "Oh yeah, you can be in Lucy's life," and then she says, "Oh no, actually you can't now because you've done X, Y, and Z." Right? Okay, well, I almost feel like a few people have said to me, "Don't respond to it," because she just wants a public argument. She wants you to like get angry and prove that you're this fucking horrible, abusive narcissist that's a bully. Like, do you know what? We've had arguments. You know, I've said we've been mean to each other. You know, and you know, I hate domestic abuse. I hate domestic violence. I hate bullies. And you know, for Rachel to like, and I think Rachel knows that. And for that to be the line of attack, like I'm this fucking monster that did
There
all this
seems to
stuff.
be a lot of hate here. Like, you know, I thought I knew guys, like, you know, but like
Yeah,
this
John,
vitriol, but
John,
like there's
I had no fucking idea. Listen, right? She said in October, you've been saying stuff about me that's not very nice. I explained to her. I said all I've said is about the visa and about you texting me, and I'm allowed to talk shit about you. Like, well, you broke up with me, right? After that, it was the stuff to In Touch Weekly. I had no idea she was that mad, right? To tell In Touch Weekly all that shit, right?
John,
That
were
was
you on
projection
OnlyFans selling dick pics? Were you did you do that?
on OnlyFans.
Did you sell dick pics?
Well, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of stuff. Like Rachel's been like, "Oh, you're selling them," and then she's like, "You're sending them unsolicited." There's nothing I did unsolicited. I spoke to women. I spoke to women, and they were like, it was the same conversation. It's like, "Oh, you're losing weight." I said, "Yeah, I'm fat. I'm ugly. Like I fucking hate myself." I said, "I'm lonely," and they were like, "Oh no, you're not. You're handsome." I said, "Oh, but I'm fat." They said like blah blah blah. Right? My who sees my dicks like no one's business. Like I don't understand why Rachel made it her mission in life to talk about my dick. I did tell somebody that if I ever did have an OnlyFans, she would subscribe and she would be obsessed. That's true. and then she made some rap songs about it, right? So I did say that. So yeah. So here's the thing. Rachel's haha got catching me out is almost like, I don't know. Like, if I had have killed myself, then what? So what? Like I don't know what her point was, to drive me off social media, to ruin any chance of me getting a girlfriend, to show everybody what, that I'm some abusive narcissist. Like, she broke up with me, and everything I did after that is just me on a fucking spiral of self-destruction. Like, I'm allowed to do what I want, right? So that's that. I don't know why she cares. Like, if she hadn't have cared, and she hadn't have collected, like, it reminds me of the Danielle folder. If she hadn't have been working on a, what was it called? That whole folder thing that she had?
The evidence binder.
Or the binder, yeah. Right? So Rachel's working, and this, I imagined it. I imagined Rachel running down the road a year after we broke up. Oh, I've got the binder. Oh, look what you've done. Who cares? Who fucking cares who I spoke to, who I didn't speak to? Right? I don't know. But all I know is, like I said, the crazy Joe that me and Rachel both knew about was before Rachel. The Tiffany thing wasn't cheating. It was a fucking phone call I said as a throwaway comment to another friend. Oh, I fell asleep once when I was on the phone with Tiffany, right?
Rachel, I'm setting up the live right now. So we'll go back to back, and I'm gonna set the live. You're gonna come up, and then you're gonna say your piece. So I'm gonna set up right now so you can see I'm serious about it. Live with Rachel. Live. I'm saying it right now. Live with Rachel, and then we're gonna do it. And I know that if I'm saying it up right now. So Rachel will have her, she's gonna rebut everything you said, John. And like I'm transparent as possible. So the live is up now, Rachel, and you're gonna come up and then you're gonna rebut, but like John doesn't want you up. And listen, Rachel, like if Rachel, when I was interviewing you, like, and John was in the chat, like, I don't think you want me to bring him up. Just like John is wanting me to bring you up right now, but like the live is set. I have it up.
John, have I said anything, like, in this whole time we've been speaking, this 2.5 hours we've been speaking, like, I wanted to say a lot of stuff for a long time, right? And the reason I didn't, right, is mostly because I got nothing. I don't want to say bad things about Rachel. Like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, but you did this, right? There's stuff, life happens, right? I could, like, stuff happens, and I hate the fact that Rachel included stuff in her raps that I'm like, okay, like, that's not true, or that's not fair. And the thing is, have I said anything, like, do you think I've said anything bad about her or attacked her character or anything? Do you think I've said anything disrespectful or mean or cruel or anything, like, in the 2 hours we've been talking?
No, I can't say that you were cruel or mean. I can't say that. No,
Good.
I know.
Because she's going to come on and be like, oh, he done this and he done that, and blah, blah, blah. So
Do you think there'd be a way that you and her can ever talk and be at peace with each other?
No. You see, the thing is, John, like, I don't know why Rachel brought up stuff. Now, it was weird. It seems to be like the stuff which is true was a little thing that she's blown into a big thing and added some lines into a rap or added some stuff and be like, see, blah. So I'm like, okay. But it's almost like a misrepresentation. Like, it wasn't really a problem 3 years ago. Like, and now it's like you're clutching at it. But here's the, like, I don't understand how she went from, like, wanting a civil, like, amicable breakup and text messages to, making me enemy number one. Like, what changed? The stuff I was doing after we broke up, And I think she didn't want me, but she definitely didn't want anyone else to have me. I think she was mad at me for maybe not moving on quickly, maybe for not fighting for her, maybe for not like having that public fight that she wanted. Because I feel like she's been poking the bear like this entire time. Every week it was like more and more and more and more. And I don't know, like I still remember as she was. I still remember the day we broke up. I still remember the breakup video. I still like our relationship wasn't toxic and angry and mean, and then we had a big blow up and then it broke up. It wasn't like that, John. It was pretty chill. It was mundane. It was chill. It was like repetitive. It was like, and she said that she was bored, or she didn't say bored. She said she checked out and she'd been feeling this way for a long time. She'd been unhappy. And I felt bad about that. I was like, that's terrible. That was the worst part of our relationship. The fact that I was thinking, she checked out a long time ago, right? A year after we break up, she's got this diss track album thing with these awful fucking rap songs, right? And they are absolutely savage. And the thing is, right, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Like, I was like, okay. And the thing is, I could go through it line by line. I could go, oh, no, that's true. Oh, that's not true. That is true. Okay, that's not true, right? But there's artistic license in that. But I will never forgive Rachel for how she's treated me with regards to Lucy. I never did anything to Lucy apart from love her, and for Rachel to pull that from me is just, I don't know, it's just hurtful. And yeah, so don't even know what else to say, John. Like, the breakup was all right. She got mad at me in October. She wrote this letter to In Touch Weekly. She then did this whole, I didn't really talk about the divorce thing, but that's not really relevant. But she made this like divorce video that was a bit snippy. Like, then she made these rap songs, and then she did a live review, and she was foaming at the mouth, angry. Like, somebody texted me, said every time she says, I bet he's watching, I'm going to take a shot. And they said, I can't play this game anymore, I'm too drunk. Because apparently Rachel was saying, I bet he's watching. I bet he's watching. I wasn't fucking watching. But, like, I don't know why she's so mad. Like, why is she mad? She broke up with me. She broke up with me because she moved on. Our lives went apart. We have different values. Everything she said when she broke up with me, I believed. That was true at that time. After we broke up, she's like, no, actually, you got to know this. Everybody, know this. 5 years ago, we had an argument about fucking whatever. And I don't understand that. And that's the thing that, like, I don't understand. I don't understand why she's made it her mission to like ruin me when I was already broken. Like, I was already down. I was done. And that's why I'm not. That's why it didn't hurt. That's why I'm still here. Like, there was nothing. The trolls and all her little fucking flying monkeys messaging me, messaging my mum, all the harassment, and it was bad, John. I woke up to 700 messages one day, and fucking 300 of them were telling me to kill myself. The other 300 were asking how I was doing and if I'm single. It was funny. They were like, some were like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You cheated on your pregnant girlfriend. And the others were like, so how you doing? Hey, how you doing? I set up my little Instagram so I could keep track of like my football page and stuff, right? I set up another Instagram. My family blocked me because they thought it was a fake account because they only had 5 followers, right? My family blocked me and reported it, which was annoying. And then Rachel posted about it. I had hundreds and hundreds of follow requests from women because of Rachel posting about it. Like, I don't know. It's fucking crazy. Like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why she made it her mission in life to fucking ruin me when all I ever wanted to do was make sure that, well, my mission in life, all I ever wanted to do was be a dad. And that's the crux of it. So now I'm not a dad. I'm not a husband. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what now, John. If you're gonna go live with her, she's gonna be like, he done this, he done that. Yeah, I've done a
That's why,
lot.
John, I like, I know you don't want like, I wish, like, I don't want to have to do a separate live with Rachel now. Like, I really would like to have you two, like, just blast each other out, like, and like get it over with. But like,
I'm
because,
never gonna do that, John. John, listen, right? My fear, my hope, my one hope is that Lucy does know me, does remember me, that she's not been poisoned so much or hates me, that in a few years, when she's 18, which is only 10 years away, right? She might look me up. She might reach out. She might do a little bit of a Google, right? My only hope is that, like, in some sense, that like, um, I I have I would never say anything bad about Rachel. So Rachel can talk all the shit she wants about me, and she can tell Lucy whatever she wants. But I love Lucy and I loved Rachel until the day she broke up with me, and I still love Lucy now. So she can paint me in any picture she wants to ruin any chance of me getting a new girlfriend. Like, I was talking to somebody a little while ago. Hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm not ready to date. They only did a little Google, sent me screenshots, and I was like, oh, well, yeah, there's that. Right? She, like, it's working. Like, her plan to ruin me is work. Like, I've fucking done. Like, I I don't know. I don't know what the purpose is. If it was to make me kill myself, she was close. Um, the break I took from social media was just basically to give my family a break because they were getting harassed. I don't know what her point was. I don't know. I don't know.
what happened? Like, this live is gonna end. I will go live with Rachel next, and then
Mm.
Rachel is going to give like her side of like her rebuttal to what you said. And then like maybe you want to go live with me after where Rachel goes, like, and it's gonna be like a thing like, what
No,
would be
John. To be
best that
honest,
you and
like,
Rachel like just like go and like get all out, like put it all out there. But
the
like
thing
I
is,
respect
John.
you.
Like, the thing is, I never wanted to have a mudslinging thing with Rachel. Like,
But here we are.
well, here's the thing. Like, I'm rebutting the stuff she said, but in a way that, like, doesn't, like, the way I'm explaining it is from my perspective. That one minute we broke up on good terms, next minute she's saying, "Oh, you said some bad stuff about me." The next minute she's writing to In Touch Weekly. The next minute she's foaming at the mouth and fucking making all these rap songs, angry at the fucking world, and I'm the worst person that's ever lived. Like, if I was the worst person that ever lived, fucking say that in the breakup video. She
Guys,
could have
in
said
my
that.
chat, please respect my guest. Like, moderators included. Like, I'm like, John is my guest. He's my friend. He's been a friend of mine for almost a decade. John means something to me. Okay? He's my buddy, just like Rachel is. Please respect John. Like, I don't think I have to say this out loud to my moderators. He is my guest. And John Walters has been my friend for almost a decade. And he's never been less than forthcoming with me, much like Rachel. John is my guest. And when Rachel comes up, she'll be my guest.
John, for your viewers, I want to say this, right? Imagine a world where I did this, John. Imagine, right? It's the beginning of the month. Rachel messaged me in the morning. Good morning, happy Monday. And I said, Rach, we need to talk. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I think we should break up. Right? I'm not really into this anymore. I've been pissed off and lonely, and I'm fed up with this whole long distance relationship stuff. And I don't want to be Lucy's dad. Right? If I did that, and then a year later made 10 rap songs about her, and I went through and said she done this, she done that, she done the other. Right? How awful a person would the world think I was? Right? But when Rachel's done it, half the world is like, "Yeah, you tell your truth." Oh, what a piece of shit! Like, she's rapping about stuff after we broke up. She's rapping about stuff which some of it's true, some of it's not true, right? She's angry about me cheating on her with Tiffany, and I didn't cheat on her with Tiffany. And then she's dragging up old stuff about somebody I slept with the same time she had a boyfriend, right? So, like, I don't even know. Like, as a person, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that. One part of me wants to be like, blah, and I want to air all the dirty laundry and be like, no, look at all this. Another part of me knows that she's Lucy's mum, knows that I loved her, knows that I defended her. Like, she was a big part of my life for a long time. And when it ended, I was fucking broken. And I don't have any anger in me. I don't have any revenge in me. I don't have anything. Like, there's nothing left, John. So Rachel can go live and say, oh no, actually, whatever. She did let her nan die alone, right? She did. I did pay for that flight for her to go and be with her nan. And she told In Touch Weekly I belittled her, right? She told In Touch Weekly I monetized, but she monetized her Facebook. She said that I belittled her and attacked her verbally so badly that she didn't speak to me for a week. That's not even true. She told me she loved Justin. She had an argument. We had an argument. And she lost her fucking cool and went mad at me. That's the truth, right? They're the things that she's telling people, like, oh yeah, look at this. There's no there. She's trying to make mountains out of fucking molehills because ultimately, I'm not a perfect person, but I always tried to like fucking do the right thing, and I was always kind, and I always tried to be fucking good. I wanted to be a good husband. I was proud of her. I was proud of her, her life and the way she was a mum. I love Lucy. Like, the way Rachel has been with Lucy through COVID, and she did it all on her own. The fact Rachel was in a state with no family, with no support, I adored her for being that mum. Like, I fucking adored her. And yeah, I wasn't perfect. I wasn't a great husband, but I'm not who she says I am. And what's worse is that she's tagged the fact I'm a narcissist on there. And she says, oh, he just pretends to be a nice guy. So now, what, am I being a nice guy? So what, this is just a fake me? A fake narcissist went away for a year, went into therapy, starved himself, lost 80 pounds, has an eating disorder, doesn't fucking sleep at night. And I'm still not blaming her. Like, narcissists don't do that. Like, narcissists would lose control of somebody. They'd go on a smear campaign. They'd make rap songs. They try and get their story out there first. They get flying monkeys to help them with the fucking character assassination. They would become obsessive. And, and if anything, I'm not an expert, but out of the two of us, I know who isn't a narcissist. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, John. I was really sad that we broke up. I didn't want to break up. Somebody messaged me today. If you don't want to be, blah blah blah, you shouldn't have cheated. I didn't cheat. Somebody messaged me the other day, and I just said, like, what was it? I said I didn't choose. I didn't choose to be divorced. Like, I would have loved to have a conversation. Maybe, I don't know, whatever, work on. I don't know. There was no warning to it, John. Like, we just bumbled along, and then she was like, I want to break up. Okay, that crushed me. I was fizzled out of Lucy life. That crushed me. And then she started this whole fucking campaign of hate against me. Maybe it's because she didn't like me swinging my dick around. Maybe it's because she didn't like I moved on. Maybe it's because she didn't want to share the internet. Maybe it's because she wanted to justify not me not being Lucy's dad, right? But I'm not the first man denied contact with Lucy. I've never been in a custody battle. Rachel has been in one, Even like the year before we broke up, Rachel got in, like, she took her ex back to court to try and get full custody of Ella, who was like 13 or 12 or whatever she was at the time, right? Rachel doesn't like to share, right? And I thought, because of what I did for Lucy, Rachel would have respected that. So even if we were broken up and even if we couldn't get on, and Rachel co-parents well when she's not trying to get full custody, I thought Rachel would have respected the love I had for Lucy by letting me be Lucy's dad forever. But she didn't. Just one day, blocked, and I went on to Snapchat, blocked. Yeah, and Roblox blocked. That was it. The end. And then she made like a rap, and she joked about how I didn't have a dad. She's joking about me not having a dad, and she stopped Lucy from having two of them. She laughed. She laughed about, my dad not wanting me. And I think Rachel knows that I always wanted to be a dad. And I don't know. Rachel is a good mum. And Rachel probably did what she thought would be best. Now, if she thought having me out of her life ultimately would make the dynamic in the home better, and make her happier and make the home life better, then I understand it. But she was making these rap songs with Lucy in the room. She spent hundreds of hours planning it in group chats and in these fucking things. Hundreds of hours to teach me a lesson. Teach me what? Those hours could have been spent with Lucy. Those hours could have been spent with Ella. You know, you could have been fucking walking the dog. Like, but instead she made it her life mission to fucking, you know, kick me when I was down. For to what end? I'm still here. And I'm not a dad anymore, but she's come out smelling of roses. Everyone's like, yeah, keep that narcissist, abusive, nasty person away from your kids. Yeah, good on you. Well done, you. Speak your truth. Me too. Hashtag. Right? I don't even fucking know what. But all I know is this was not my plan. So that's it, John. That's the story from like my perspective. Like, I don't know why she's mad about if I broke up with someone.
Go ahead. No, go.
If I broke up with someone and then I was jealous or angry they were doing X, Y, and Z, that would be my fault. That would be my problem. And there's not a person who would be like, oh yeah, you got a right to be mad about that. Oh, my ex has got a new girlfriend. My ex is having threesomes. My ex is swinging his dick on fucking OnlyFans. So what? None of your business. Like, I don't understand why Rachel has made it like... And Rachel said, oh, people are sending me stuff. Okay. Brilliant. I'm glad that you spent those hours making rap songs about it. So I don't know, John. It's really sad.
John, I want to thank you for coming up, and I want to apologize also because, you know, you didn't... When I had Rachel up, you weren't in the chat. I'm not trying to like dog Rachel or anything like that, but like, you know, you didn't have like Rachel spoke clearly and you kind of didn't get that opportunity. So I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that I asked you to bring her up 3 times when you just want to speak your piece. And, you know,
okay,
that's
John.
on me. And I feel better. I feel bad for that.
Don't sweat it. Listen, right?
I'm gonna go live with Rachel right now. Like
when Rachel went live with you, right? I got somebody sent me a couple of screenshots, sent me a couple of clips, right? That was the first time I saw Rachel in over a year. That was the first time I saw her face. And to see her foaming at the mouth, angry, scowling, like hyped right up, like almost spitting as she was talking, I was like, fucking what happened? Like, it was awful to see the person that I loved for so long be so fucking mad at me.
You both are very hurt.
Huh?
You both are very hurt. And, you know, but what I do feel bad about is that, like, you know, like, I didn't know it was going to turn into this.
John, it's absolutely fine. Like, John, you don't have to apologize. Look,
no, I do. I feel bad about it. I do.
Listen,
you know,
right? The amount of control it took not to respond to the stuff that has been posted, not to respond to the stuff, to like the amount of control it's taken not to reply to trolls. I get messages every day about Rachel. Every day, hundreds of fucking messages a month. Like, and that was even when I had my little fucking profile where I had like fucking 5 followers. I was getting requests all the time. Everyone. It was
I know you guys loved each other. I know you guys loved each other, and you loved Lucy. Like, you took her on as a daughter. I know that you guys loved each other, and that's probably why the hurt is so, like, you know, bad. You know, and I do feel bad because when I had Rachel up on my platform like 3 months ago, like, you know, this wasn't an issue. Like, where, like, you know, you were in the chat, like, so I feel bad about that because once you know your ex in the chat and saying stuff, it kind of, like, you know, it changes your perspective on things you want to say.
That's what I said this is an audience of one, because a lot of that was for Rachel.
So like, you know, I feel bad about that, but, like, you know, me being friends with the both of you, like, you know, I had to make sure that, like, I was as transparent as possible between you and her. Just when I told Rachel, when I told you that I was interviewing Rachel like months ago, so, like, I do feel bad because, you know, you're my guest and it's your story, and Rachel had her story and now you had your story, and now Rachel's going to come up live and, like, it's her turn now, and we're going to, and then, you know, I think I don't know.
I didn't know you could see the comments, John. I just clicked on them then. I've done this whole life with no comments.
Oh, good thing, John, that you didn't see them.
No, I didn't
So
see him. No, John. Seriously, John. Listen, don't feel bad. Like I feel awful that you were put in a position that you are friends with both of us, right? I hope, I hope that you, I hope that like you understand. Like I'm not angry. I don't want to get revenge on Rachel. I don't want to. I don't want to air her dirty laundry and make her look bad. I've said stuff in rebuttal to some of the stuff she's done, right? And that was the process it went, right? I'm 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 okay. I'm moving on. Like I can't get hurt by this stuff. Like she can be mad. She can be mad at me. She can say awful things about me, and it's not anything. Like I I fucking loathe myself sometimes, John. So it
but
doesn't like she's just one more person like who fucking hates me, and it's fine. But I'll let you go then, John, and you can do your live. I won't be watching. Um, have a nice time, I suppose.
I hope you do watch.
Hmm. Do you know what? Like, I'm not
I
gonna
don't
watch.
want you to feel like you're being like rushed off this live. If
I'm
there's
to be honest, John. There's nothing to say. She did those raps. Most of it is singing about stuff I did after I broke up. So what? Like I don't know what to say. I could have fucked 50 people and joined OnlyFans. So what? Like I could have spent 2 months sniffing cocaine. So what? Like I could do what I want. I'm free. I'm single. I could have done whatever I want. I don't know why she spent so much time trying to like prove to everyone I'm this piece of shit when I felt like a piece of shit that didn't even fucking know my wife had checked out months before we broke up. Like I hated myself, and I hate my body. I hate my face. I hate my skin. I hate everything, and it fucking doesn't matter. I don't understand it. I don't understand. I don't understand when she stopped loving me. I don't understand when she wanted to break up. And the fact I missed it, and the signs must have been there for a long time. Like, but I fucking knew. I knew that I'd never see Lucy again. So that's where it happened. So I don't know.
John for
But
coming up
everything
with
I've
this.
said, John, everything I've said is true. Like, um, Joe was crazy. Rachel did know about her. The slideshow she made was not true. I did have a conversation with Tiffany. I don't know if Tiffany knew I fell asleep or whether Tiffany just thought, oh, we were at Signal. I don't know if she would even remember it, right? That is true. I didn't have an affair with Tiffany. Everything that happened after we broke up, none of her business. Like, I don't understand where the hate is coming from. I don't, the stuff she mentioned in her rap songs, she didn't mention when she emailed or when she spoke to In Touch Weekly. It seems that like every time she tried to like up the ante, it was like she'd done this and tried to up the ante, up the ante, up the ante. And a part of me kind of felt like she was goading for like a big public fucking war. And I don't have it in me, John. I don't have any war in me. I don't want to. Rachel's the last person in the world I want to fight with. So, um, what's she saying
John,
now?
thank you for being up here with me. And I'm sorry that like it kind of got skewed a little bit.
It's
That's
okay.
on me.
I'm trying to carry
I'm
this.
gonna end this live, and I have the second live with Rachel set up already. So, um,
Okay.
I really do hope that you do watch it. To be honest, like
There's nothing. There's nothing. She's got more evidence. Then okay, more stuff. Fine. Like I don't know what she wants me to do. She wants me to show the what? No one cares. The people that think I'm a scumbag think I'm a scumbag. The people that think that she's a narcissist that's done all of this to use and abuse me and dispose of me when I was no longer needed, they're gonna think that. Like I can't change what people think. She's not gonna change anyone's mind. I'm not gonna change anyone's mind anyway. So I don't think there's one person who was like, "Oh, I thought John was a piece of shit. Now I see that maybe he's actually he's actually like just a fucking broken man that spiraled to oblivion and swung his dick around a bit." Like I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, but I didn't do anything um, that deserves this, and that's what it comes down to. Like, is whether it's measured, whether it's reasonable. You know, I don't know. I'm just rambling now, John. stuck in my own head. But that's where
You're
I've been.
fine.
Okay, have a nice time. Yeah. I was gonna.
John, you look good, and like you're always gonna be my friend. So,
Mm.
like, just like Rachel, you guys, and it is what it is. So, um, we're at the 3 hour mark for this interview. Like,
Okay.
oh, Jesus Christ. So we're gonna have Rachel come up on the next live, and she's gonna give her piece and um her rebuttal. And but thank you for being here, John, and I appreciate you, and
Yeah.
I always will. So
Well, Johnny, I appreciate it. Thanks for having this. I wanted to talk about it for a long time, but I didn't have words. I didn't. I still was still trying to process like how something that was so good went so fucking wrong, and I didn't even know. So um, that's it. Rachel, you're watching, I guess. I just want you to know that I am sorry for not knowing you were so miserable for so long, for hurting you, for everything really. Um, you were the thing that I was most proud of, and you're a good mum. And I think about where I went wrong every day, and I don't mean the stuff after I broke up. I don't mean the stuff that didn't happen that isn't true. I mean the real stuff, the stuff I didn't hear. The stuff you told me, and I was oblivious. The stuff I missed, the real stuff. That's the stuff I'm sad about and I'm sorry about. So, good luck with all that. All right, goodbye.
with that being said, good night, everybody. I'll see you in 1 minute when we switch over to the live with Rachel. John, thank you. You're my buddy, and you always will be. And thank you for doing this.
No worries, John.
I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. Let me switch over. My God. Nope, still live.